Terrible mistake. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're glad you're watching. Thank you so much for making time to join us. This is Sound Candy Talk Open Forum. As we start our conversation tonight, all eyes are in Addis Ababa as the AUC contest comes to a home stretch. They decide who becomes the next chair. Apologies for the wrong footing to start, but I believe everything is all right from wherever you are. Nimeona hapo warnings are sound, and we are Sound Candy Talk. Thank you so much for the reminder. And I believe we can now get me. Confirm, please, as we start out. Well, Raila Odinga as the key candidate for Kenya, and of course, I believe great interest for Africa. He's fighting out with two other candidates for this seat, and this weekend will be the final deciding vote. I don't know what is your take on the same. Yesterday we ended the show on a footing where Eli was giving us the hurdles that Baba needs to ride over if he will get the seat, things going for him and what was not going for him. I would want to dig further into the same, even as we balance our expectation. It's important that we balance the expectations, although from what went down in the prayer meeting yesterday, it's like majority of Kenyans wish Baba well, but they don't want him to go. So we are waiting to see how everything plays out. But more than that, we want every one of us to be on the forefront in participating in our politics and, of course, the leadership of our country as well as our continent. I salute everyone who is joining from wherever you are. Please be on the forefront to invite somebody and ensure that you share the link widely to get more people to join. While that is going down, our members of parliament today did a tug of war, push and pull between the minority and the majority in parliament after the court ruled that the majority is Azimio. Wetangula, who is the Speaker of the National Assembly and a seasoned lawyer, instead of him coming to inform the House what the court order said and comply with the same, he opened the court order for discussion on the floor of the House, that there were chaos in terms of the Azimio members of parliament occupied the majority side, forcing the other side to now either share or care for the session to go on. Now, this forms a very important subject for us to look into in terms of how quick are we in following the law. Why is it that the culture of impunity and the culture of disregarding the law is taking root so much in the country, especially from the highest place? If the court ruled a certain way and that has not been appealed, that has not been set aside, why would there be another twist to the same other than complying with it or making room for appeal so that they get stay orders to keep the status quo? It appears that everyone wants to do whatever they wish to do for themselves, regardless of what is needed to be done. And so our culture of impunity seems not to be going anywhere any soon, especially with Kenya Kwanza. And so I appreciate everybody as we start out. Please let us do what we must do and ensure that we reach out to everyone to make every Kenyan understand ni kipi kinachoendelea. And of course, kulikuwa na mambo mengine tu mengi. Kuna tena scandal mpya ya hela fulani ambazo zimepotea kutoka kwa taasisi fulani hapo hapa Kenya. Vituko haviishi na sijui itakuwaje. Kulikuwa tena na ile ujumbe kuhusu SHA, mikakati ya SHA na vile inavyohujumu wa Kenya katika kupeana huduma yake. Kwa hivyo tumia link ambayo nimeweka kwa comment section kuingia studio tukajadili masuala haya kwa kina. Naomba tuanze kwa fujo. Kumbuka leo tuna mgeni wetu bado ambaye tujoin baadaye tukiendelea kuwa na mazungumzo naye. Kwa hivyo naomba tumakinike, haswa wale ambao tunataka kuhusika katika kuchangia katika mazungumzo yetu. Usichelewe kufika. Jana tukawa tunafunga, lakini bado watu wanataka kuingia studio. So naomba tufanye hima kuwahi mapema badala ya kuendelea kuendeleza kipindi wakati kimefika kikomo. Well, let's keep going as we start with that wherever the members of parliament story, and then we'll go to the AUC later on. Haya, hapa tuone majority minority Junect or majority minority ichungwa, sijui itakuwa kwaje katika nchi hii.
I am privileged to speak from the seat of the majority leader. Because, Mr. Speaker, even when I sat on the seat, it is very warm, Mr. Speaker, unlike mine, which was very cold, Mr. Speaker. I didn't know the seats of Parliament have different warmth, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, I don't foresee myself leaving this seat anytime soon. I don't see myself leaving this one anytime. But having said, Mr. Speaker, as you are aware and as you have alluded to, Mr. Speaker, there is a court ruling. A ruling of court consisting of 3-judge bench, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, a court ruling has only got 2 decisions, Mr. Speaker. There is no third way about it. One is to obey it, and secondly, if you have any avenue of appeal, you exercise that right of appeal, Mr. Speaker. There is no third way about it, Mr. Speaker. And the court ruling, what we went as Azimio after the election, after your decision here, Mr. Speaker, what took us to court was for the court to interpret for us the constitutionality of your decision on who is the majority party and who is the minority party in this House, Mr. Speaker. And the issue of the Speaker came in as obiter, Mr. Speaker. But what took us to court, we wanted to know, because when we arrived here after the election, we arrived here knowing very well that we are the majority party, Mr. Speaker, and we are the numbers. But midway, we ended up losing numbers through your ruling, Mr. Speaker. And that is what took us to court, to ascertain whether we are the majority and whether we are the minority. And luckily, the court has made its ruling, albeit late, Mr. Speaker. We expected this ruling much earlier than this time, Mr. Speaker. But it is better late than never. the decision arrived, and the decision has said that the Azimio party is the majority party in Parliament, Mr. Speaker. And I so happen to be the minority leader as of now, Mr. Speaker. So today afternoon, I just switched seats and I took over the role of majority leader, Mr. Speaker. And I am capable of doing that work, Mr. Speaker. I have the capacity, I have the qualifications, I have the capabilities, I have the numbers in the House, Mr. Speaker, to lead, Mr. Speaker. I have everything what it takes, Mr. Speaker, to be the majority leader of this House, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, the issue that we need to exercise, to analyze, Mr. Speaker, is that, Mr. Speaker, I want to say this. Mr. Speaker, court rulings are very important, Mr. Speaker.
Haya, mambo ni kama hayo katika bunge letu. Huyo ni Junet Mohamed akisema basi switch viti, anaketi kwa sehemu ya wengi bungeni na anazungumza kama kiongozi wa wengi bungeni, tofauti na ilivyokuwa hapo awali akiwa kiongozi wa wachache. Na hii yote ndio imechukua muda mzima katika bunge, na inaonekana Wetangula na genge la Kenya Kwanza hawataki kusikia hilo wala lingine. Well, we want to start our conversation on the same. Msimamo, hali vipi?
Bwana, nashukuru. Na wewe hali yako hapo studio?
Salama, tunashukuru. Karibu Kwale, kwema?
Bwana, Kwale tunamshukuru Mungu, kwema huko kakaangu.
Mvua huku inatisha huko, ishafika?
Bado sana jamangu, bado. Hiyo ndo kwanza ndo nimenoga kwanza. Lakini hata hivyo unajua lazima tushukuru kwa vyote, si tulalamike. Najua wanadamu ni wachache wa subira. Sasa hapa ni tushukuru. Kikiwa kiangazi tushukuru, kikiwa mvua tuashukuru. Hiyo ndo au binadamu, si kila siku utakacho upate tu, subira kwanza. Bwana, leo kikuu zaidi ni minority na majority. Kwa maana jana hapa tulizungumza hapa, alafu mimi nikatimka. Sasa kumbe ulikuwa tu ni mwanzo wa ngoma tu. Mwanzo wa ngoma ni lele. Leo mambo ndo yamenoga na ndo yameanza safari. Kwa yale ambayo tulikuwa tunazungumza yamejitokeza. Kikubwa zaidi ni kwamba Junet amenikosha moyo pale aliposema upande ule mzee ulikuwa ni baridi, upande huu kidogo kijoto kinapatikana. Na kwa hali hii siwezi kiacha leo hiki. Hapo paka niacha sasa, niache zangu zilizokuwa natafuta za kutafuta kande, kwanza nitulie kwenye kivuli nifuatilie jamangu. Sasa Wetangula ni kamba hataki, na brigade nzima ya KK ile ilikuwa wale jamaa zetu wale, kwa sababu nimeona the way ana argue wakiongozwa na Kimani Chungwa na wengine wale wabunge, lakini nikaona vile wanalizungumzia hili mimi nikashindwa jibu. Na ndio maana nimekuja hapa tupate majibu kamili ya maswali yangu, na pia wengine ambao wana maswali sawia na mimi. Kikubwa kwanza, nimesikia wakizungumza mwisho wa siku wanaopongeza sana kukumbatia maamuzi ya koti. Lakini pale palipokuwa pananigusa moyo wangu pale kwamba unajua sisi ni broad based government na haina shida kwamba Junet kukalia hapo. Yaani baadhi ya viongozi walikuwa wanazungumzia zaidi hapo kwa broad based government. Yaani nikalinganisha na yale yaliokuwa na yazungumza jana hapa kwamba vipi huu usije ukaa ni mpango, lakini kaa tu ni kuchukua mzigo kutoka kwa kichwa na kuleta begani. Yaani unasema unapumzisha kidogo, yaani napumzisha mzigo huu lakini umesahau kwamba mwili ni ule ule mmoja. Maana kama ni minority na majority, basi wote wako pamoja, wote wako katika mwamvuli mmoja wa broad based government. Sasa je, Wetangula atakubali hilo kwa ajili ya heshima ya broad based government, ama atashikilia kwamba yeye ndo mwenye majukumu ya kuweza ndio mwenye jukumu haswa la kuweza kutangaza minority ni gani na majority ni gani, kulingana na mabadiliko yanayotokea yanayotokea, ni mabadiliko endelevu. Mfano, mabadiliko endelevu yale yanazungumzia ni yale kwamba pengine huyu amejiunga huku, ametoka kimrengo huu ameingia huku, ama huyu ameteuliwa kiwaziri kaacha pengo pale. Yani kuna yale mabadiliko endelevu kwamba waliingia wengi, lakini mwisho wa siku pengine hawa wametimka kwenda huku na huku. Kwa hiyo spika anaingilia pale kwamba lazima atafute minority na majority kupitia hiyo hali. Kwa mfano leo wakati walipokuwa wanatengeneza hii minority, yani UDM na wengine waliingia kule haraka sana, na ndio maana wakaweza kutengeneza minority na akadeclare kwamba minority ni Azimio na majority ni Kenya Kwanza, baada ya wale waliojitenga haswa wale wa UDM. So kwa mfano huo kama ndio kigezo, basi najiuliza haswa swali lingine ambalo linanisumbua kwenye akili, kama hicho ndicho kigezo, kwamba hapo ndo palipokumbuka haswa mzizi wa minority na majority. Je, kikatiba na kisheria na kihilali, ni upande gani uliweza kushinda viti vingi katika uchaguzi? Kwa sababu wale wamesema ni endelevu, yani mabadiliko pale kwenye bunge endelevu, kwamba leo huyu yuko hapa, yule amehamia kule. Lakini katika swala zima hili ambalo limeangalia koti, mahali wameangalia ni matangazo yaliyotoka wakati wa uchaguzi, kwamba huyu ana viti vingi vya katika bunge na huyu ana viti vidogo, yani vichache katika bunge, ama huyu ana viti vingi katika senate na huyu ana viti kidogo katika senate. Hapo ndipo kwenye chimbuko sasa la minority na majority, kulingana na mimi nilivyoelewa haya ya mahakama. So nashindwa kuelewa, ndugu zangu, hapa upi uamuzi wa kweli kikatiba na kisheria? Je, ni ule mahakama waliweza kutoa mwongozo wake na kusema kwamba hapana, tumechekecha lakini tumeona hapana, Kenya Kwanza si minority, ni si majority, ni minority. So ni upi haswa mfumo sahihi? Kwa sababu hapa ndo kuna kuzungushana akili kwa masikioni kwa sisi wananchi. Wale wanasema hapana, spika ndo kila kitu, ndo ambaye ataweza kutoa maamuzi, na spika yule ndo ambaye alitoa maamuzi ambayo yalikinzana na amepelekwa mahakamani, na outcome ya mahakamani ndio hiyo. Maana kama hakungekuwa kuna matatizo, basi hayangefika mahakamani, lakini wameshikilia hapo hapo kwamba hapa bwana, katika hili bunge hapa ni endelevu, kuna mabadiliko endelevu ambayo yanaweza jitokeza wakati wowote. Sasa hatuwezi tegemea kwamba huyu ni minority, kwa sababu hata kuna chaguzi ndogo ndogo ambazo zinakuja, na huenda pengine huyu akaongeza vyama, huyu akaongeza wafuasi wa bunge na huyu akapunguza wabunge. Kwa hivyo hatuwezi simama tu kwamba tunafuata matokeo ya kura, huyu alikuwa minority na huyu kwa majority. So hapo ndo nataka nieleweshwe haswa kwa kisheria, haswa njia gani mwafaka haswa ambayo tunaweza kuichukua haswa kama wananchi sisi ambao hatujaelewa kila ambacho kinajiri. Kwa sababu kimtazamo wangu mimi nitafuata mahakama, kwa sababu mahakama imesimama pale ambapo tunajua kwamba majority ilikuwa Azimio, kwa sababu walipata viti vingi. Huku nako tunaambiwa kwamba speaker ndo mwenye kila kitu, ndo mwenye mandate, wala pia ni huru ni tume huru haswa, yani ni ya kujitegemea, si kwamba iamuliwe na koti. Kwa hivyo mimi sijapata jibu mwafaka, niko hapa Bernard ili nipate kupata haswa maswali ya majibu yangu. Asante. Yani majibu ya maswali maswali ya nipate majibu ya maswali yangu. Asante.
Sawa, nimekupata. Asante sana.
Kiswahili kisije kanganya kama jana kwamba dalili ya mawingu ni mvua. Asante.
Sawa, asante mwalimu. Wewe unajua tunakutegemea, wewe ndio mhenga wetu. Asante. Nashukuru kwa maswali hayo, na ni maswali malenga ama yanayolenga sehemu fulani ambayo lazima ieleweke. Kwanza, dhana kwamba Wetangula ndio spika ndio kila kitu kwa katika kupeana uamuzi nani ni majority na nani minority ni uongo mtupu, sio ukweli kabisa. Kazi ya Wetangula ikifika kwa swala la majority na minority, yeye ni kutangaza inaitwa nini, confirmation ambayo inatoka kwa registrar of political party. Yeye hata hahesabu viti, hahesabu wabunge. Yule mtu amepewa mamlaka kikatiba kukagua ni wapi majority, wapi minority, ni registrar of political parties. Okay? Ndiposa katiba inasema hata mtu kuwa nominated as a member of parliament or as a senator, hayo majina yapelekwe mapema wapi? Kwa registrar of political parties. So kisha kuwa declared na IEBC, registrar of political parties ndio anapokea hiyo. So Wetangula anapokea barua ama information from the registrar of political parties na anatangaza kwa bunge. Sasa yeye alikwenda kinyume na sheria wakati yeye anasema ati alipokea barua kutoka kwa wabunge wakimwambia wameacha Azimio, wameenda Kenya Kwanza. Wameacha Azimio wakaenda Kenya Kwanza. Hakuna sheria inasema hiyo mambo yote. So hizo barua zake na wale wabunge waliambiwa waandike barua ama wamwandikie barua, walikuwa na kufanya kazi kinyume na katiba. Na hapo ndio makosa yamepatikana nini? Bungeni. So hapa yule anayeinua Wetangula kusema yeye ndio kila kitu, ni mojawapo tu ya njia yetu ya Wakenya kuwa wapotovu na kutaka kuharibu nchi kwa kuipeleka katika misingi isiyofaa. Na ni kweli kama vile umesema, kutokana na matokeo ya uchaguzi, who is minority, who is majority, hapo ndio kishina kipo. Hakuna kuhesabu 3, 4, 5, 6, tunaanza na 1, 2. Yeah. Sasa hapo Wetangula anataka kuruka 1 aruke 2 aanzie 3, 4, 5. Ndio kimekuwa kisungumkuti. And then of course na sheria pia haifanyi kazi kurudi nyuma inafanya kazi kwenda mbele. So kile kipo saa hii kama ruling ni kwamba the majority is Azimio, hapo ndipo kutaanzia. Kile ambacho kilitendeka hapo mbeleni until it is factored within the provision of the constitution by the people who are leaving Azimio kwenda kwa registrar of political parties ama kuprocess through the provision. Kama kwa mfano Azimio ilikuwa na agreement, kama uko mmoja wa Azimio, baada ya uchaguzi utatoka kwa Azimio after 6 months. Hiyo ndio mkataba walisign. So vyama vyote ambavyo vilikuwa kwa Azimio, even after elections, they did not have permission to leave Azimio at will until after 6 months. So by the time Wetangula was giving those ruling and saying that Kenya Kwanza is the majority, the window for moving, unaelewa wewe ni fan wa mpira, kuna ile window ya migration okay, ya Azimio ilikuwa haijafika. So hakuna vile hao wabunge wangehama kutoka Azimio officially waingie wapi? Kenya Kwanza. So hii ni mojawapo ya corruption ambayo Wetangula anataka kuendeleza, and that is why naomba kama sisi ni Wakenya na tunataka ukweli, Wetangula atimuliwe. Nisitaki kwenda mbele sana, lakini nimeona pia leo kama umesikiza Wamboga vile ameongea, itachukua ango nyingine ambayo sio safi. Amesema naongea kama mzee, na ni kweli kwamba court orders lazima zikuwe obeyed, lakini hiyo kiti ni ya Mluya na hiyo ndio kitu peke yake Waluya tuko nayo, so kuna vile hiyo kiti itakuwa threatened kutoka kwa nani? Kwa Wetangula. So ikifika kumtimua Wetangula, kila mtu atakuwa Mluya ama Mjaluo. So hapo sasa ndio ngoma yetu mchezwa, but lakini kisheria anayepeana hiyo list ya majority minority in the registrar of political parties sio Wetangula. Hiyo lieleweke vizuri. And then pili, kama koti imerule, Wetangula anapaswa kuchukua hiyo ruling, asomee bunge kwamba tulikuwa tumepitisha hivi lakini koti imesema hivi, kwa hivyo tumepanga kwamba kesho tunaenda kwa appeal. If that is the case, then we wait for stay orders. So hii game ambayo imechezwa leo na ile Wetangula anacheza ni njia moja tu ile ya kawaida ya kuhujumu sheria na kujaribu kushinikiza na kusimamisha vitu ambavyo vimeanguka. At now, Kenya Kwanza is not the majority, it has already fallen. But the other games that you see even the politicians playing, they awana mahali wameshika, ndio wanasema Azimio ishakufa, haiwezi kudai kitu chochote, and then wengine wanaruka mbia kuna broad based. So kwa sababu kuna broad based, tusahau nani majority minority and all that. All those are excuses. It's not enforcement of law, and it is bad manners that we must end in this country. Na mtu akitaka kuhama chama arudi kwa wananchi, hivyo ndio katiba inasema. Hii masuala ya wewe kuhama kutoka huku kuingia huku na hakuna consequences hapa katikati, hiyo ndio inaharibu uwezo wa katiba na inafanya wananchi kuwa hawana uwezo, kwa sababu kama itabidi wewe ukitaka kuhama Azimio kwenda Kenya Kwanza urudi kwa wananchi, kila mtu atakuwa na discipline. Lakini wanataka ku relax hiyo ili tuendelee na hii tabia ya wewe unakuja kutuhadaa wewe ni wa Azimio, lakini ukishafika bungeni unaenda State House kupewa mlungula, alafu unatugeuka kama wananchi. I hope that explains that msimamo, unless kuna clarification nataka nimlete Lala.
Asante, kwa sababu hata mimi nilipokuwa nimeshikilia zaidi ni hapo kwa vyama, muda wa vyama kuweza kuhama kutoka kwa mrengo huu kuingia kwa mrengo huu. Lazima kuna mipangilio. Ukiangalia bunge la 13 vitu vyake wanafanya kwa haraka zaidi. Yaani kitu kimoja ambacho iliweka hili bunge 13 kuwa ni bunge ambalo halina mipangilio, ni kupitisha vitu kwa haraka. It's like kwamba kuna a force fulani inatoka mahali pitisha hii. So for Wetangula kuzungumza hivi kwamba kwanza kwamba hajaupokea huu uamuzi wa koti, hapa ndo tunataka tuangalie kitu sheria. Now, je, sheria itafuatwa kikamilifu ama itapindishwa kwa sababu imewalenga watu fulani ambao wako babda leo? Na Wakenya hapa tujifundishe. If kweli these people are honest, wana interest na Kenya, jambo la kwanza ni kutii sheria na kutii hii court ruling, kwa sababu hapa ndipo kwenye hii sheria. Isipofanyika hivi, basi itakuwa kwamba sheria zetu hazina thamani. Kwa maana mfano mdogo tu, hawa jamaa wa Azimio walipoenda kotini, koti ili rule, hawakukubaliana na yale matokeo ya ruling, but walisema wanaheshimu. Now this time Kimani Ichung'wah aheshimu pamoja na Wetangula na hiyo troop, ama ni wanajitegemea kwamba wao ni serikali na vyenye wanaamua ndio hivyo hivyo, nobody ambao anaweza wasukuma na kuwastopisha katika mipango yao? Ama la mwisho ni mpango ule ambao ukinong'onwa haswa huko kando kando kwamba kuna tafutwa kijisababu huyu jamaa wangu ajipate hayupo, pia tuingize mtu wetu mwingine haswa hapo kwenye uspika. mimi nitaachia hapo nisiwe mbea. Asante.
Asante sana Msimamo, tunashukuru. Tutaendelea na mjadala na kuomba tafadhali kuwa mstari wa mbele kukaribisha mtu. Piga kura yako, tunauliza katika maoni yako. The poll question we are asking, in your opinion, is Kenya Kwanza ready to obey the court order and become the minority? Kura inaendelea kupigwa. 36 people have already responded. 78% wanasema no, 22% wanasema yes. So inaonekana wengi wa Kenya wanaona Kenya Kwanza hawana ile wepesi ama urahisi wa kufuata sheria, watatafuta kijisababu cha kutofuata sheria, which is part of our major serious problem in our day. Well, as we continue with the conversation, let's ensure that you are participating and doing the right thing. Thank you those on the comment section. Hapa Salome anasema Wetangula atolewa hapo kwa viboko. Watu wa UDA wanaukabila wachia hapo basi. Asante. And then kuna nani huyu okay, due diligence anasema it's important that we balance our expectation. The prayers yesterday invoked mixed feelings about this. That's true. Wengi wa Kenya wanaombea baba mema, lakini hawana ile hali ya kutaka kumwachilia, na inaeleweka. Hata wewe ukiwa baba, binti amefika umri wa kuolewa, amekuletea jamaa, mmekubaliana, ng'ombe ushakula, lakini siku ya kuachilia pia unashikilia. So wengi wa Kenya inaonekana bado wamemshikilia baba, hawataki aende, lakini Jumamosi ndio msema kweli, tutajua mbivu na mbichi. Peter Davis anasema there is no good will to obey the court order at all from Ruto, Raila and Wetangula. Okay, why would Raila be in the court order? Ama unamaanisha sio yeye anashinikiza kina Zega na nani, Millie Odhiambo na Junet kwenda kuchukua mtoto wao? Whichever the case, let's focus. So Reverend Lala, karibu. Hali vipi huko?
Salama sana ndugu Bernard, na Msimamo nimesikia akihutubia, namsalimia sana, simuoni lakini najua huko nyuma, na wale wengine ambao mko nyuma. Yangu itakuwa machache kabisa, na kwanza kabisa ningetoa mfano fulani kitu ambacho kilifanyika hapa Amerikani. There was this professor. He married this young lady who didn't have a job. He decided to take her to school, and she got a job. Later on, they were married, and later on, the professor started getting a little sicker. And then one day, a divorce from out of nowhere came, that this woman that this professor had helped primarily, she was having a very bad situation, actually decided to leave after getting the goodies from the professor. And of course, there was nothing the professor could do. Your mama alienda, she left. And some years later, the professor found a letter written to these old winners of lotteries. In other words, this woman had played lottery, and when she won the lottery, she changed the address and divorced this man. It was multi-million, dollars lottery, and moved with the mother. It's a true story. Okay, you can even Google it and see it. Quite a while ago. And the woman moved with the mother. And this professor was sickly. He had spent so much money on the woman, and life was very difficult. And so she looked at the note and realized this woman basically had left because she won a lottery. And so the man went to court, okay, and explained the situation. that huyu alikuwa mke wangu, tulioana, nilimpata hivi na hivi, nikawa mgonjwa in our marriage. Life has been very difficult for me. Then she left me. And then look at what I found. And I found that this woman moved, was living in luxury, and the court decision was very clear. Every little cent, you remember, everything that this woman had was taken away from her to the husband. The judge said, you have benefited from this man. The contract of marriage was there, and you chose to leave when actually all whatever money you made, what this man made, belonged to both of you. And there was no way that one person could make that kind of decision. So this woman lost everything because, yes, the marriage was gone, but because the contract was in place, she had to forfeit almost everything. Now, looking at that case, let's bring it back home. Azimio had the number. In other words, clearly Azimio could have been the one to be in the majority, including the selection of the speaker. I think they had to have a voice towards the one who's being chosen as a speaker. But what did they do? Ruto and his team, the same thing that they used to get the presidency, was now brought now to the House, went out to hunt for the votes, 14 of them, against the law, against the Constitution, when actually the rule of law clearly stated that the laws should be obeyed. Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. But then Wetangula, who is a lawyer, knew the truth because they're lawyers. And this is why sometimes people have a problem with lawyers. And again, he himself, Wetangula, even though, let me go back a little bit, I think for Ichungwan group, it's very, very clear. You know, the things are 100% clear. If we were talking about Wetangula's position, perhaps we would debate, you know, and still it's going to have to leave too. But when it comes to majority, it's very, very clear there should have been no discussion. And even now, for us even to talk about a court decision, it just shows that we are a banana republic, really, because there should have been no negotiation at all. I understand if maybe the speaker seat, they have got some few questions here and there, which still clearly Wetangula should go. But I could understand because there's some technicality here and there. But at the end of the day, I don't have to be a lawyer to argue, you know, the case myself, because these are very clear rules. So to even have that debate in Parliament is misplaced because the law is very, very clear. When Ainchi spoke, the Azimio had the numbers. So for us, even start debating what is legally there shows that we are really gone. We really have a problem, a big problem. But even things that are clear are not clear to Kenyans. So it's like I do some little work for the military. And you know, we have a training for officers, okay? The officers are what we call the cadet officers. When they come in, they're just kurutu, you know, they're just anybody. And they're trained by non-commissioned officers, the RSM and others. They train them. But the day of graduation, when people sit in there, they are saying, sir, in the morning, you know, trying to salute all these RSM non-commissioned officers. But upon the commissioning, the salute changes. They're no longer the one that they've been training. Now they salute them. They are now the one with the what? Wanacheo, because the law require that. Right now, it should have been actually they should have been parking the Vichungwa and the rest could have been parked without even talking. Even to talk about it, it's even sad, really, really sad. This should have been something not even debatable. I could see them debating a little bit about the speaker just for a short while, but for us even to talk about people arguing, I listened. I took time to listen to those arguments in Parliament. It just shows how cognitively we are deprived. I don't know whatever's happened to our people, that even clear stuff, we can't see them. No wonder the abduction are going on, because people don't see leadership. We don't know. Abduction is coming from leaders when they can't follow the law. This is where the perversion of the law is gaining its strength, because they know there's nobody to tell us what to do. These are we call the leaders, and they got those titles, OB, I don't know what kind of title they get, CBS, whatever titles they have. And look at the way they are behaving in Parliament. So to me, I think this should have been not even debatable. If they want to debate it, or let them go to court. These are court decisions. Let them appeal in court. But meanwhile, it has to be enforced, because we are a country who believes in the rule of law. We have got a constitution. So right now, they are not. In fact, I'm not even sure whether they're worth being elected. They're worth being called Weshimiwa. To me, I think their standing has really gone low if they can't even obey just a clear ruling from the court. Hapo ndio mi naona wanted just to say something little kuhusu hayo jambo ambayo tunaona ni maajabu sana. It just shows a banana republic. Bernard, back to you.
Thank you, Reverend Lala. It is sad. It is sad that the people that are supposed to lead the way and teach the young generation on the importance of walking the tightrope are the ones misbehaving. I watched the Parliament today, and I was a very sad man, because
it's very sad.
of reasoning.
Hey, unaona Wetangula anajaribu kuwafundisha hao vijana. Sasa unafundisha nini? You're not telling them to obey the law. I mean, you're mentoring. What are you mentoring them to do? I mean, as who? So it's a sad scene to watch, really. Very sad.
It is too bad that we are fathers, yet we are leading the country astray, and you are proud of it. I don't see why somebody should put on coat and tie to go to Parliament to mislead the public. It doesn't add up. And then anaitwa mheshimiwa. Kwani alienda kufanya nini? So as Kenyans, I really want us to get angry enough and do something drastic. This Parliament needs to be sent home completely. We need a new crop of people who have the interests of the country at heart. See the way we are playing around with the security issue on the northeastern. We have now turned it into a tribal thing and want to brush it off, like what Duale was talking about, that Natembeya has been a beneficiary of bribes from voting. That is why he's advising that it's dangerous to allow people to be registered without vetting. It's so backward, so primitive, that it really annoys. As we make progress, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to weigh also on the AU issue. Eli yesterday said a lot of things in terms of the hurdles that Baba has to jump over in order to attain the seat. And then, of course, the reaction of Kenyans is that their love for Baba remains, but they would rather have him here than away there, which is understandable. But I want us to look at this contest from different perspectives, whichever way it goes. Are we are we playing our role right, or we are, over expectant? So nataka hiyo ikuje ndani, then we can bring our guest so that we continue the conversation we had with him yesterday. So tusikilize hii alafu msimamo aingie ndani, then tusonge mbele. Then of course kuna hii shida ya public schools. Hii nchi iko na matatizo kweli. But let's hear the AU issue first.
Right, and on the road to Addis, it is 4 days to the election of the African Union Commission chairperson, and Raila Odinga, of course, is one of the 3 candidates that are running for that seat, and our team is in Addis Ababa. We have Olive Barrows, we have Seth Olale and Stephen Leto, and we begin with Olive and Seth, who are on the ground. What can you tell us in the preparations that you've seen?
Right, Sam, we're coming to you live from the AU headquarters in Addis Ababa. And as you've correctly stated, it's going to be a busy couple of days in and around the building behind us. There's, of course, the election you've referenced, and that is for the AUC chairperson, for which we have Raila Amolo Odinga as Kenya's candidate. We also have a candidate from Djibouti, and that is Mahmoud Ali Yusuf. And we have the Madagascar candidate, Richard Randriamandrato. So we wait to see who between the 3 will be elected the next AUC chairperson by the 38th ordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government. So that is the 15th and the 16th, Saturday and Sunday. But tomorrow and Thursday, we have the Executive Council, which will elect the 6 commissioners, isn't it, Seth Olale?
Yes.
And the Executive Council is made up of foreign affairs ministers or other ministers who are designated by their respective countries. But that is not the only item on the agenda. Seth Olale has some insider information for us.
Yes, this is an exclusive report from the AUC Commission itself, and this is in regards to the official release of the agenda that will form that particular ordinary summit of the heads of state. What we know that the much-awaited election of the chair and the vice chair of the AU Commission is the 11th agenda on the item. Quite a coincidence that today is the 11th day of February. But even apart from that, what we know is that apart from that particular session that is going to be very defining, we'll also have reports, various reports from the Commission, and especially the heads of organs that make up the African Union. And speaking of which, there's also already some activity here. Olive, we know that the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has already touched down at the Bole International Airport, ready for the Interministerial Council tomorrow.
And Raila Odinga's technical team has been busy at work. We bumped into a couple of them at the airport when we were making our way here. But Stephen Leto, perhaps you can tell us what his campaign looks like?
Well, Olive Barrows and Seth Olale there at the African Union Commission headquarters. Where I am is the central business district of the Addis Ababa, the capital city of Ethiopia. But it's been a busy, day, but 2 key delegations were very visible in Addis Ababa, and that is the AU headquarters today. That is delegations from Kenya as well as delegations from Djibouti. That has been widely viewed as a race that is being, narrowed down into 2 candidates. And like my colleagues will put it, that could there be a dark horse in the name of the Madagascar candidate? But all the same, Raila Odinga is said to be making his last sprint starting tomorrow. He will be in Bujumbura, in Burundi, meeting with President Evariste Ndayishimiye in one of his final lap across Africa to seek the support of African presidents. From Burundi, he will be flying straight to Somalia to meet President there to seek the support of that nation as he prepares to land at the Bole International Airport on Thursday ahead of the Saturday vote. Remember, President William Ruto is also expected to lead the Kenyan vote to the AU headquarters from Friday. We've seen already delegations coming in. The Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi is also touched down in Ethiopia. We've also been able to have a company. We've been able to fly with one of Raila Odinga key campaign secretariat team leader, that is Ambassador Elkanah Odembo, who is already in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, preparing the ground ahead of that vote. Of course, we are hearing of possibility of having an influx of politicians who will be accompanying the Azimio, I beg your pardon, who will be accompanying the AUC candidate Raila Odinga to the headquarters as they go to take the vote on a Saturday. Of course, we have prepared for a wide covered range that will be ranging from the Mandela Hall to all the other avenues that will be having the sidelines. It's all systems go right here at the AU side, and we'll be, of course, bringing to you each and every update as and when we get it right here from African Union headquarters.
Okay, there you go. Reverend Lala, ni kama msimamo ametupwa nje. How do you see this go, Reverend Lala?
Bernard, I have I think I listened to early yesterday, and there are some things I agreed with, but there was also other things that I didn't agree with completely. I think when we talk about African leadership, on one level, they want somebody they're comfortable with, but on the other hand, I think they're looking for a way out in terms of who can assist us to help our nation so that at the end of the day, we have something else for our people. So I think it's just simply beyond just trying to push what, as he stated, Baba, because of the kind of leadership they have. That may be true, but on the other hand, I think there is a desire on any leader to want somebody who can assist them towards the goals that they are trying to achieve. And I think many of the Baba supporters are looking at his strength. They're looking at his organizational skills. They're looking at his diplomatic skills. They're looking above all at its work as the prime minister. What did he do? A lot of times we give Kibaki the credit. Yes, we have to give him the credit because he was at the top. But remember, they work together, and clearly Baba's stamp is on that governance. And what we would say as the foundation of Kenya that we would want to have, Baba's hand can be seen all over, especially when we look at a cleaner government, a government that responds to his people. His background as an engineer allow him to see Africa, where it is and what it can become. And I think he has spoken the language that people understood. Something people may not understand. People like Traore, those are students of Baba. I meet a lot of leaders in the West and different places. The one they know is Baba. I mean, it's amazing how much is known. You saw him walking in the streets of Lagos, and the whole city was a standstill. So Baba is not just a small figure. As a matter of fact, let me say this. I think somebody like Ruto, he can be useful if he votes for Baba, which is really good. But Baba does not need somebody to campaign for him in Africa. He can do it. In fact, some people, they're campaigning for him, actually they hurt Baba more than helping. So when it comes to the capacity to be able to move Africa forward, and the knowledge of Africa and the way people take Baba, I don't think there is anyone who can beat Baba at this particular moment. If they had the ulterior motive that I think Eli was suggesting, maybe they would look at him as somebody who kind of overshadow them. Okay, but on the other hand, I really would lean on the side where they're looking at Baba as someone who can be able to help us exploit our natural resources to help our people. And I think he's been committed to that. His legacy is about that. And so I think his superior is above the rest of the team. I mean, those other candidates. Other candidates may have some diplomatic credentials, but in terms of what the capacity to be able to change the dynamics in the continent, I don't think they have that. And I think most countries are looking beyond. Finally, this is my own opinion, which I think is critical. I think Africa is also reacting to Trump, the nationalistic look that countries like the US is taking. Look at what is really going on, the deportation and everything else. So there's a sense in which Africa is looking towards itself, which means that the influence from outside may not be as strong as it used to be. In other words, a lot of those countries would vote based on either what France wants or what the US or the British want. I think they're beginning to vote in terms of what they want, because the people realize that there's not much you can expect from outside, and people becoming more nationalistic in a way, more into our continent. And that works good for Baba, because Baba is seen as an authentic African leader with a deep love for the continent. And that, I think, as a Pan-Africanist, I think all those credentials actually is a blessing. And so the one who can face Trump, who can be able to challenge the world and speak on behalf of all of us, I think is after Mandela, I think is Baba. So I'm pleased, I'm happy that he's there, willing to go for that seat, and my prayer and my hope that he wins. And I think he has a very high chance that he's going to win. And so let's pray for him. Let's trust God that God will give him this victory, because he has been winning, yet we keep stealing his victory. And this one, I doubt if they're going to steal it. Thank you, Bernard. That's what I can say about Baba.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Lala, for that perspective. I would wanted Eli to come and substantiate some of the things he said, but in the interest of time, in case he comes, we'll be able to hold him to account, because I heard something about the army, the Kenyan army going to Somalia. Somalia would want to revenge against Baba, and I saw that as overstretching, because that was one a decision by parliament, and that decision by parliament was in the fight against terrorism, and it wasn't just an invasion by reason of the supremacy of Kenya. Kenya has been an aid to Somalia forever. They have conducted their elections in this country almost 3-4 times when their country cannot hold together. So some of these things we are, some of the things we are using as explanation, to me, I don't think could be even a factor of consideration.
I agree with you, Bernard, very much, because even that time, even Somali themselves wanted, Kenya to go in there. So the dynamics have changed so much that, and I think probably more of them wanted some stability in that nation at that time. So that to me is not a very valid argument that was raised. That's quite stretched. Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a short break there. After we'll be having our guest, so that you engage him further on our discussion. There is also the story of MP Salasia, is it Miazi East Member of Parliament forced to apologize for filming or live streaming from Parliament against the standing orders. I tell you, our misbehavior is getting out of hand. All in all, let's keep going. Karibisha mtu, piga kura yako, tumakinike.
Kutoka vijijini, mijini hadi jijini. Hii ni Sound Candid Talk Live.
We begin here in the capital, and Kenya's candidate for the position of African Union Commission Chairman, Raila Odinga, is excused.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is on a point of order, Honorable Speaker, on a matter of decorum of the House. Because, Honorable Speaker, I was just perusing through.
Welcome to Sound Candid Talk News Special Edition. Be sure to subscribe, share the video widely, and give it a thumbs up. God bless you. This is the story of Frank Okoth, a 19-year-old Kenyan whose life is nothing short of a miracle and an inspiration. A young man who, against all odds, survived 6 gunshots during the tragic June 26, 2024, Gen Z protests in Nairobi. Frank is an orphan, raised by his aging maternal grandmother after losing his mother at the tender age of 8. He never knew his father, a result of a teenage pregnancy, and life has dealt him blow after blow. Frank and his grandmother have faced unspeakable challenges, including surviving 2 devastating slum fires that claimed everything they owned: his late mother's documents, birth certificates, and school papers, leaving them with nothing to rebuild their lives. Forced to drop out of school in Form 2 due to a lack of fees, Frank started doing manual jobs to provide for his grandmother. But on June 26, 2024, everything changed. During the protests, Frank joined other Kenyan youth to exercise their democratic rights, peacefully demonstrating against unemployment, rising living costs, and rampant corruption. But the unthinkable happened. Police opened fire on unarmed demonstrators, killing over 20, injuring many, and leaving others unaccounted for. Frank was among the victims, hit by 6 bullets, yet by God's grace, he survived. After a series of life-saving surgeries, Frank can now walk again, but the bullets left a lasting impact. He can no longer perform heavy-duty jobs to support his grandmother. In their iron sheet home, deep in the slum, is inaccessible by vehicles. In case of a medical emergency, help is far out of reach. To make matters worse, the slum is plagued by insecurity, with daily cases of muggings and robberies. Despite all these challenges, Frank dreams of finishing his education, learning a trade, and building a better life for his grandmother, the woman who has stood by him through every storm. This is where we need your help. In the short term, we aim to move Frank and his grandmother to a safer home where they can access medical care and live without constant fear. Long term, we want to support Frank in completing his education, learning a profitable skill, and starting a small business. I've faced so much, but I'm still standing. I want to work hard, take care of my grandmother, and make her proud. I just need a chance. You can be the change in Frank's life. Every contribution, big or small, will go a long way in helping this brave young man and his grandmother rebuild their lives. Let's come together and help Frank fulfill his God-given destiny. God bless you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share this video widely, and stay tuned for more inspiring stories on Sound Candid Talk. Send your donations to Sound Candid Talk, support Frank Okoth account. The link is in the description below. Together, we can make a difference.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're glad you are watching. We are still here with Frank. He has had a long day in the, how do you call this place? Habari yako.
Nzuri sana.
Salimia wageni.
Hi guys. Hope mko salama. Like pia mimi niko salama. Yeah.
Leo umekuwa shule?
Leo nimekuwa shule.
Masomo vipi?
Masomo yananipeleka tu vizuri.
Ni nini kinakustua?
Una
uko tu poa?
Mimi niko tu poa.
Sawa sawa. So ningependa labda ufahamishe watazamaji, labda kuna wale ambao kukuona jana, majina yako, umezaliwa wapi, umelelewa wapi, tukisonganga.
Okay, kwa majina ni Franklin Okoth. Nimelelewa ghetto, mjini unajitambulika kama Mkuru Kayaba. Niko na miaka 19.
Okay. So hii Mkuru kwa Kayaba, umezaliwa hapo, ukaenda shule hapo. Shule yako unasoma shule gani?
Shule nimesomea ni St. Bakita, inajiita St. Bakita.
Okay. Hiyo St. Bakita iko huko kwa slum?
Iko tu hapo karibu na Winners Chapel hapo.
Kuanzia wapi mpaka wapi?
Sema distance ni 1 kilometer toka Mkuru Kayaba huko.
So ulienda huko nursery ukaendelea mpaka form 2?
Huko nimeenda hadi nimeanza nursery. Nikafika class 6. Then nikaenda nikapelekwa nyumbani, huko ndo niliendeleza masomo yangu huko.
Nyumbani wapi?
Homa Bay.
Okay. Kwa shule haina jina? Frank, wewe patia habari, acha kutini.
Kwa shule yenyewe ilikuwa inajiita Dudi Primary School. Niko hapo Homa Bay, mjini wa Kakelo Dudi.
So huko compare maisha ya Kayaba, St. Bakita na huko umesema Wadudu wapi?
Dudi Primary School.
Dudi Primary School. Yeah. Tofauti ni nini?
Tofauti yani sana zaanza kuelezea maisha yani kutoka nursery hadi nifike form 2. So now sasa niko 19 years old na kudhani siwezi kumbuka lifestyle yangu yote, lakini naweza kumbuka tu kiasi yenye nadai kuongelea hapa. Sema tu nye maisha ilikuwa mzuri nikiwa na wazazi. Hakuna kitu nilikuwa nakosa, nilikuwa nafanyiwa kila kitu. By the way, tulikuwa wawili kwa familia yetu. Nilikuwa na sibling, alikuwa msichana. Lakini after pia alichukuliwa, alimezwa na dunia. Hapo ndo nadhani pia mamangu alishikwa na depression. Pia akamfuata. Hapo ndo sister, yani auntie yangu ambaye ni sister mamangu mbigi. Ndio alinichukua akaenda stay na mimi huko Homa Bay. And then aliamua kunifanyia kila kitu. Shule alinipeleka, sikuwa nakosa, hakuna kitu nilikuwa nakosa huko. Shule nilipelekwa kumaliza tu, yani kufika form 2. Hapo ndo tena siji walianza tena kubishana kuhusu mwenye atanilipia school fees na bwanake. Walibishana hivyo, mimi kufukuzwa school fees, kurudi nyumbani na napatana na aunti yangu saa kifua. Akaniuliza umerudi kufanya nini? Nikamwambia nimefukuzwa school fees. So jibu yenye nilipatia ni pigia shosho yako simu huko Nairobi, mimi hakuna kazi yenye naenda. Hapo ndo sasa nilianza ku give up. Kasema yenyewe haina haja niende shule. Na kuna hadi mtu mwenye anaweza nilipia school fees, acha niachana na story ya shule. Hapo ndo nilitafuta fare nikarudi tena huko Nairobi. Nilitoroka nikarudi Nairobi. Huko ndo sasa nikaanza kuhustle.
Okay. So hebu tuelewe hapa, ulikuwa St. Bakita
Yeah.
Ukasoma mpaka class 6.
Hadi class 6.
Nini kilifanyika hapa katikati kikasababisha wewe uende Homa Bay?
Kutoka nursery nimesoma hadi kitu class 2. Hapo ndo mamangu aliniacha. Kesho yangu saka struggle na mimi hadi class 6. Pia hapo tena alishindwa sasa na kunihandle. Kabidi tu aunti yangu amwambia acha nichukue mtoto wa sister yangu nenda nikae naye. Kesho yangu pia akakubali. Ndo nilienda nikaanza kuishi na aunti yangu huko Homa Bay.
Alishindwa kuhandle kwa sababu alikuwa mtundu ama
yani pia alikuwa na mtoto wake sasa na alikuwa anamsomesha juu anauza chakula. Angeweza kutulipia school fees wote. Samia ilibidi anirushe huko na baki na huyu mwingine amshughulikie, aone kama amshughulikie hata huyu mwingine pia kumaliza.
Okay. So ukatoroka kurudi Nairobi Nairobi karudi kwa shosho.
Nikarudi kwa shosho, hapo nilianza kuhustle.
So ulijirudisha kutoka Homa Bay mpaka Kayaba tena. Alafu ukapokelewa ama ukafungiwa nje?
Nilipokelewa.
So nataka utueleze maisha baada ya hapo. Ukaanza kufanya hizo kazi za mkono ulikuwa unasema?
Hapo ndo nilipata rafiki akaniambia instead of kukaa kwa nyumba, acha tuende tutafute moja mbili tunaweza fanya. Sasa unajua pia hao ni walevi na kazi yenye wanafanya hivi wenye niliongelea jana. Kazi wanalipa pesa kidogo juu wenyewe walevi unajua au wanashukuru tu pesa yenye imetoka. Yaani hiyo tu ndo wanaona tu iko sawa nao. Sasa mimi nilivumilia nikafanya nao kazi hapo until the last minutes. Ndio nijikute kwa majeraha yalionipata.
Okay. So hapa uko na shosho, unafanya kazi ambayo malipo yake ni ndogo. Maisha ilikuwaje hapo? Ukikuja na hii 150 unalipwa na rent ni pesa ngapi?
Rent ilikuwa ni 2,000 kwa mwezi.
So 2,000 kwa mwezi, na tuseme hii job ya 150 inapatikana mara ngapi kwa wiki?
Unaweza pata mara moja kwa wiki ama mara mbili hivyo hivyo.
So hakuna vile hiyo 150 inaweza fika rent?
Hakuna.
Okay, so mlikuwa mnafanyaje ndio ifike? Kwa sababu
sometimes pia shoshi kuna venye landlord yani amekaa hapo sana. Sasa landlord alikuwa anamuelewa, saa zingine alikuwa anamuelewa tu, lakini saa rent ni hizi pita bila kulipwa. Sasa alikuwa na hustle kidogo kidogo, anachanga na anampatia hiyo yenye imepatikana pole pole tu hivyo.
Okay. Kuna siku mmefungiwa nyumba ama?
Nyumba tumefungiwa mara nyingi. Lakini yenyewe shosho yangu ni mzee sana, naenda tu wenyewe analilia landlord. Landlord pia ni bwanake ni mtu kuelewa.
Okay. So mkifungiwa nyumba, kuna siku mmefungiwa mlale nje, mkalala nje ama?
Kulala lala nje, lakini sema tu kuna siku ashikuja akang'oa mlango akaenda nayo. Mkalala hivyo. Mkalala mlango wazi? Mlango wazi.
So wewe ndio ulikuwa watchman ama pia wewe ulijifunika blanketi ukalala?
Singizi hizi kupeleka.
Okay, so mlisurvive usiku ama mlivamiwa?
Tulisurvive.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, kama una swali kwa mgeni wetu, tafadhali weka hapo kwa comment section ama tuma ujumbe wako, tutakuulizia mgeni wetu. Huyu ni Frank, our son here at Sound Candy Talk, na tuko na mpangilio wa kuhakikisha kwamba atamaliza masomo yake na atafanya nini, atapata mahali pa kushikilia katika maisha haya, na hapo ndipo tunakukaribisha. Nimepeana hapo information jinsi ya kuchangia kusupport Frank. Kuna njia 3, aidha unaweza tumia till number 516575 M-Pesa till number. +2547184545585, the M-Pesa line, or you can contribute using that link of PayPal donation. You click on the link, it will take you to PayPal, and it will give you 3 options. Are you supporting Frank's upkeep? Are you supporting Frank's education, or Frank's startup business capital? And we are reaching out to each one of us. Kama uko na moyo na unaona kwamba Frank anafaa kusaidiwa, tafadhali usingoje. Tunahitaji msaada wako katika mambo haya. Naamini kwamba katika maisha, mojawapo ya sababu ya sikuishi ni kusaidiana. Mmojawapo wa bishop wangu anasema the undefined life is the art of living sustained by contribution. You will be remembered for what you do in other people's lives, not necessarily what other people did for you, but what you did for them. So we are appealing to you, as we have always done, and we have exemplary done a lot of things together as Sound Candy Talk. I would want us not to, fail on this major project. We have never done this before in terms of taking charge of responsibility like this. We have raised funds and bought foodstuffs and taken to famine victims in Marsabit twice. We have supported some cases here and there, but this is special. We want to give 12 months to Frank and his social grandma to be able to pay for them house rent, ensure that they are living well for the 12 months. And then within the 12 months, Frank needs to get set for his Form 4 exam. And then, of course, taking on other courses, like he started today computer classes and is doing really well. And so we need your input. Kunje mkono. Whatever amount you can part with, please make sure that you send it as soon as possible. We will be doing this over and over because we don't want to get them stranded. So as I already reported, they are no longer living in the slum. We moved them to a better place, secure, where they can sleep without anybody carrying their door. And then, of course, living in fear always. And so they are already living in that house. The rent is 10,000 per month plus Wi-Fi, which is 1,000 per month. So that's 11,000 per month, which we need your support to sustain. And then, of course, the other issues of water bill, power bill, na mambo kama hayo. And then, of course, he's learning. We don't want him to interrupt. Remember, we have only 12 months. And so within 12 months, Frank has to do all those things together and be able to piece things together and be able to take care of the grandmother, and then, of course, plan for his own life. So kama uko na swali kwa Frank, tafadhali uliza, na kama una maoni pia ama ushauri, unakaribishwa kupeana, lakini usitoroke ama ujikunje kwa sababu kuna msaada unahitajika. Mojawapo ya sababu ya mimi kuhusika na maisha ya Frank ni kwa sababu tumekuwa hapa kila siku tukisema Wakenya wote wasimame kutetea nchi yao na kuhakikisha kwamba uongozi mbaya wa William Ruto hautakita mizizi na hautaharibu future generations. And we've been singing that, and Frank and other people believed us and executed whatever we were asking them to do. And in the process, he got injured. So we can't abandon him and turn around and say we are going to change Kenya without touching his life. To me, that would be irresponsible. So I really want us to be on the forefront in supporting Frank in whatever way. On the other hand, like the video has stated, they suffered fire twice, which led to them losing all legal documents. And so we are coming up with how to help him get the legal documents and then be able to process his registrar of persons process. And so unaona hapo kuna mambo tu ambayo yatahitajika ushauri, itahitajika mwelekeo, and then of course financial support. So naomba kama wewe Mkenya mzalendo unapenda haki kwa kila mtu na ungependa kuwa sehemu ya kusupport Frank, usingoje. Tuma mchango wako ama inbox me so that we make arrangement. Hapo kwa PayPal unaweza kuweka recurrent contribution, your $50, your $20, your $5 recurrent monthly for the next 12 months. It is acceptable. And then we will be able to report back here on what is happening with him. So Frank, tukikurejelea kabla nimlete Lala, wewe una mipango ipi?
Mipango kama gani?
Wewe unataka tu kuamka ukilala, ukiamka ukilala na siku zinapita, ama uko na mipango ya tuseme malize masomo, ufanye kazi nini? What is your plan for the future?
Plan yangu ni nimalize masomo yangu, nipate hata kama ni shughuli ya kufanya yenye naweza nishikilia kimaisha, kwa maisha yangu. Ya nisihangaike wenye maisha yangu wenyewe yani wenye ni mahangaiko huku nyuma.
So hiyo inamaanisha kile unatafuta ni opportunity ya kujisimamia na kutekeleza mipango ya kufanya wewe uwe mtu wa kutegemea. Labda ni kuulize kisiasa. Ukiona nchi hii vile inavyokwenda na wewe ni Gen Z, unaona inakutia moyo, inakuvunja moyo, inakufanyaje?
First of all, nataka kuambia majenzi wenzangu tujitokeze tupiganie nchi yetu, manake hatuwezi kubali kuongozwa na kiongozi mwenye angalii maisha ya binadamu venye inaendelea. Yeah.
Okay. So kwako vita zinaendelea?
Vita bado zinaendelea. The same way mimi nilizaliwa nikapata Kenya bado ina exist, is the same way Ruto pia alizaliwa akapata Kenya bado ina exist. Yeah. Kwa hivyo nafaa elewe.
Okay. Jensi, kazi kwenu. Reverend Lala, your question or message to Frank and the rest.
Asante Bernard. Frank, I'm happy to see you, kuona tena, na tunashukuru sana kwa maisha yako. Na jana tulizungumza kitu kidogo nikaondoka, lakini vizuri umerudi tena na tuko na wewe. Tunajivunia wewe kama shujaa wetu. So we are here for you and also others that are there. Jana nilikuwa nikueleza kidogo kuhusu yani vile hali yako ambao umejipata, vitu ambavyo pengine wewe unasikia, na hizo ndizo zinawasumbua watu sana wakiwa na hiyo inaitwa PTSD. Okay? Ni kile ambacho mara inawasumbua sana ni kupoteza usingizi, nightmares. Ni kulala sio kawaida tena. Kitu kidogo unasikia umeamka. Na sasa hiyo inakusumbua sana, hata kama unataka kusoma wakati mwingine unasikia kama uko mchovu kabisa. Na sasa hiyo one of the symptoms, hiyo nightmares. Na tena ile ingine inaitwa emotional numbness. Yani ujisikii vizuri vile umezoea kusikia. Yani ujielewi feeling kimori hapo inasumbua watu sana. So even things you used to enjoy feeling, you don't have those feelings anymore. Sasa those are the signs. Ukiwa ukipatikana umejipata kama uko shida kama wewe ulipatikana. To all of you who are joining us, ndugu yetu, mtoto wetu, kijana wetu alipigwa risasi 6, 6 bullets, and is here to live. So hizo nightmares, numbness of feeling, hypervigilance, na ni kitu kidogo tu ukisikia uko alert. Yani hata wakati mwingine kulala ni utaki kulala, utaki kuwa na nguo zako, yani tu unakuwa startled kidogo haraka sana. So kama no exaggerated reaction. Negative thoughts. We have a lot of people wanajiua. They don't know how to live. Alafu unajinyonga tu kwa sababu mawazo imejaa vitu vingi sana. Yani wewe mwenyewe unasikia kama you're losing your mind. Naona. Sasa those are signs and symptoms. The other one is reduced interest. Yani vitu you used to enjoy, it's like you don't have any joy in them. Places you used to be in and you feel great, you don't have those feelings. So in affect your feeling. And then the other one is a feeling of hopelessness. Any kama there's a kind of hopeless. If future is quite dark, you don't even know whether you're gonna make it the next stage. Okay, those are sometimes, and then flashbacks. Memories. That moment comes back to you. And again, you're trying to avoid it, but you can't. Places you don't want to appear them. You're avoiding those places because they create those flashbacks. Okay, yani unajisikia tu kama mawazo hayawezi kutoka hapo, wakati mwingine inarudi tu hapo mara moja, alafu that experience inarudi tena. Okay, and then difficulty concentrating, yani kuwa na focus, una study, doing what you want to do, unapata difficulties. Those are the signs za PTSD, which I know you will confirm whether they are there, ama unasikia hivyo ama usisikii, lakini mara some of those ones hizo nimetaja ndio some of the symptoms. So the first one, nightmares, emotional numbness, hypervigilance, negative thoughts, reduced interest, feeling hopeless, flashbacks, avoidance of places and things and people, and then sleep problems, kulala ni ngumu, difficulty concentrating, huwezi kufocus. Those are the things that you will have to deal with, lakini with good support, with good counseling, and those others that have gone through this. And many, many things impact our people back home. And a lot of people live with this, okay? Hapo nyumbani. Na jueni kwamba there is help, and these are things unasikia hivyo, know that you are going through something that may require you talking to somebody. Talk to your doctor, talk to your pastor, talk to somebody knowledgeable, talk to maybe a medic that you have nearby, and they will help you deal with it. For you, Frank, and some of other friends, I do have some other clinicians that will help us. We can do online. We have a website that can help you. You can connect with one of our therapists, and also we just have a resource on that website where you can just do some reading on your own to kind of help you deal with some of these feelings. So we are here to support you and work with you. So don't ignore those feelings. Any of you listening to me, if you have those thoughts and feelings, don't ignore them. Some people just ignore, they just think that it will go away. And I'll give you an example. An example of someone. I had one of my client or patient, okay, an army young man who was a driver in the military. He was in Afghanistan, basically was in Kuwait during the Gulf War, okay? And his truck was blown up. His friend died, and other people died. But for him, he was okay. He wasn't physically hurt, okay? So he came back to the US, okay? And so one day, I'm in this base called Fort Bliss in my office, and he drove back from another state to my office. And then he said, I want to talk to you, I want to talk to you, I want to talk to you. So asking what's going on because he looked kind of subtle. He told me he was driving that night because he was driving the whole night coming back to the army base, and he was talking to his friend. And he said we talked for hours and hours because that's a far distance from where he was. I was in Texas, and he was in a place called Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay, so he drove that distance, many hours. And when he arrived at the base, that's when he realized that the friend he was talking to was actually the one who died in Afghanistan, in Kuwait. Okay, in Kuwait and Baghdad. Okay, around there, that day. Okay, but in his mind, that's when he got, back, some of those thoughts that came back to him, and his friend was sitting next to him. Actually, he alikuwa kwa another world altogether. So alipofika, ndio nikamuuliza, were you counseled? He said no, because I was fine, nothing was bad. I didn't want to be counseled because I thought things was fine because I'm a strong guy, I can handle this. And so for him, he just left. He was never helped. So now when he had come back to the United States, that's when the Gulf War came back to him. You see, this brain of ours does not lose all these things. They're just buried somewhere. And it takes something to bring those memory back. And that's why we help people deal with those feelings and those thoughts. So wale ambao unanisikiza, kama umekuwa na trauma in your life, you need to talk to somebody, and that really can be helpful to you. Okay, back to you. I don't want to go on and on. Back to you, Bernard.
Thank you, Lala. You talked about our website. If you could give it so that we share those that could be interested in seeking that help. And then, of course, we will link the two of you to talk in private so that Frank can give you the whole scenario of what is happening. Bwana Frank, hiyo maswala nani Reverend Lala anazungumzia, ulituambia jana nightmare hii mengine lack of interest in life.
Imetuma hapo, just register there, and the website also is there. Register tu alafu tutazungumza.
Okay, thank you. Umesikiliza, unajua huyo ni mtaalamu wa counseling kwa wale watu wamekuwa na trauma in life. So ameeleza situation kwamba when you have gone through a fierce experience like ile umepitia, utakuwa na hiyo nightmares, ile kuota kwamba ulituambia jana unaota kwamba umevamiwa, and then kuna ile hali ya hopelessness. Ukiangalia future hakuna kitu, there's no reason to live for, and so you want to kind of give up on life. Umekuwa na hiyo experience ama wewe mangomi?
Already nilikuwa nisha give up kwa maisha. Nilikuwa naona tu wenyewe sina mbele wala nyuma, yenyewe nilikuwa nishaumia. Kazi pia siwezi fanya kazi ngumu, so nilikuwa naona wenyewe sina hope tena. Lakini kutoka Bernard akuje anishughulikie, hapo sana nimeanza tu yani hope imeanza kurudi. Ilianza kurudi na hapo mali tulipatana na Bernard.
Okay, thank you. Nimlete Kip moja kwa moja. Kip, hali vipi?
Yeah, very good. Very doing well. Frank, habari?
Mzuri sana.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good.
How are you feeling?
Niko poa.
You're a king, you know that? You're a king. Unajua mimi watu wengi wajui jina yangu. We know you. We know who you are. You're a hero. Yeah, that's a smile I want to see. Yes. We know you now. Yes, that's it. Yeah, you should not give up. We know you. And we care for you. So don't, I wouldn't say, the good thing is you fought your demons. Sometimes as a man, lazima tupitie hiyo. I know it's tough. Kuna vitu zingine hata huwezi sema hapa. I know that you can't say it here, but going through them, you come out strong like the way you are now. Umekuwa, I can see you are strong. I can see like right now, I see a very strong future for you. I see a very strong future for you. This is just but a passing by, and the monsters that did that to you, tutaachia Mola awasamehe. So there's something nobody has ever asked you. What would you like to do in future? Like, what do you do for fun? Don't think about making a living. What do you like to do for fun? What makes you happy? I think that's a very important question. What makes you happy?
Jibu swali. Yeah. Nini huwa kinakufurahisha? Hobby.
Football ama ni nini?
Wewe una nini hufurahisha? Kucheza futa, kuswim, kumake friends, kutravel. Ukitaka kufurahisha.
Wachana na mambo ya kazi, because that's what you're going for now. I just want to know what makes you happy.
Vitu kama hizo ni sikufanya nikiwa mdogo, ndo maana yani I can't explain.
What would you like to do tomorrow?
Kazi ama?
No, fun. Fuata kazi. I want you to think about something that would make you happy. You. I know you're thinking about your grandmother. She's a strong lady. Today we are talking about you. What makes you happy? That's a tough question. Have you gone to Nairobi Cinema?
No.
Bas, kesho unaenda to Nairobi Cinema and pick whatever movie you want. I'll send it through Bernard. Go watch a movie and enjoy it with your friends. Bernard, tutaongea kando. Let this boy have something fun. Unajua tumeongea vitu serious. You can see he has a beautiful smile. Let's make him smile tomorrow. So kesho, Bernard, unajua unafanya ile kitu ingine. This is a movie for him and one of his friends. Tutaongea kando. Because I think he deserves that. We've made this too serious. I want to know what makes him happy. So you can go watch a movie there, Garden City. Unaona sasa hata Ana amesema. The things we need to do. Let's do something joyous also, you know. Well, tunatafuta ile ingine Bernard, sawa.
Sawa.
We'll talk on the side. Yeah. I want to see more of him smiling. Yes. Hata nani Reverend Lada atanisindikiza na hiyo proposal.
Hiyo nakubali naye 100%. Frank, na
Yes.
mpira unaipenda?
Mpira sipendi mpira.
Una team utaka kwenda kuiona? Okay, that's all right.
Team, kusupport kuna team na support, lakini kucheza ndo sipendi.
Yani kwenda kuona Miskiti Stadium ama Nyayo, whatever, anything that you want to see?
Hiyo naweza. Hiyo napenda.
Okay.
So we'll organize that with Lala. Tutaongea kando. We'll organize for whatever you want to do. I suggested a movie, but it doesn't have to be a movie. Unaweza enda kuona ball. Yeah. Something fun. We've been too serious.
You can do both. You watch a movie and then go. Yeah, both.
Yeah. Because you've told me something that is sad. You've not had fun as a child. Today you'll be at utakuwa mtoto kesho. In a good way. In a good way. In a good way. Kesho Bernard tutaongea kando. Yes.
Sawa.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for bringing in that dimension, and it's a necessary one. Inasemekana mojawapo ya vitu zilikuwa zinatatiza Michael Jackson, the famous Michael Jackson.
There's Annie there. There's Annie there from Garden City. Unaona umepata watu utaenda kusalamia one of the patrons of Bernard here. She's called Anne.
Okay.
Bernard, you can communicate with Anne and you know how to do those things. Things are happening.
There's no problem. We will progress that way. I was saying that one of the challenges that Michael Jackson talked about in his old age is that he did not have a childhood life. Alianza kuimba mapema na akakuwa serious mapema katika maisha. So in his old age, he liked children and he wanted to have that, child feeling. So it's a need that should be supplied, and I'm happy that Kip brought that up. We will do all things as God enables us, and of course, as we come through. And then, of course, pia tutafanya nini? Unajua mambo ya Frank ni mambo ambayo ni hatari na inakufurahisha tena ni ya mambo mengi. So kuna masuala mengine hatuwezi ongelea, like we cannot say ahead of time where we are going. Is a security issue, things like that. So I want everybody to be aware of that. So kuna mahali tutakwenda, kwingine hatuwezi kwenda in the meantime until we have all these things behind us. Our world is not as good as it looks, but we will combine forces. So tafadhali inbox me if you are interested to be part of what we are talking about. You have my number. It's everywhere. Everybody has it. Let's make use of it. Then tunapanga. So kama wewe uko na swimming pool, do you swim?
Of course.
You know how to swim?
Yeah.
River Kayaba kuna kuna swim, so ungependa kwenda swimming? Yeah, so kama wewe uko na hotel fulani hapo uko na swimo mzuri, sisi tunakuja kama ma reverend kubatiza watu, lakini Frank anaweza kuja kuswim, sisi tukibatiza hao wengine. But whatever you want to do for Frank, please don't hesitate. We really need every support we can get because we are running a crash program. We want within 12 months to have put him in a good place where he can stand on his own. Not that we want to abandon him, but we want to walk with him, bring him to the place where he can, take care of himself and have those dreams again that he had from the beginning. And then, of course, be part of the larger society where things are happening and his name, as known as it is, I'm sure that there is a reason why God preserved his life. 6 bullets, hata wale watu wale msamaria mwema wale waliombeba kumpeleka hospitali, they were not his relative, they did not know him, but things work. God has a way of working out things, and so he has a reason for it, and I would want us to plug into that reason and support it to its fruition. So I really want us to come on board forcefully and of course enthusiastically, as we always do. Kwangu mimi naamini kwamba hakuna kitu unapoteza wakati unainua mtu. You lose nothing. My Archbishop of blessed memory, Archbishop Benson Idahosa, used to say, a candle loses nothing by lighting another. You don't lose anything by making somebody smile, by making somebody's life easy, and of course, opening opportunities for them. And that is why no matter how many limited resources I have, I would rather deny myself and help another person, in a better way. To me, that's the whole essence of those of who are Christians. Christianity cannot be lived in isolation. The true definition of Christianity is in touching another person's life. There's no greater love than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend. And so I really want us to be as practical as possible, even as we attend to Frank. And not only Frank, there are so many Franks out there. Some of them, we just jump on them in our estates, in our bus stations, and all that. You don't know what people are going through. And so if we offer ourselves to be a helping hand, we will see how much impact we can cause on the earth. So tutakuwa hapa, we'll shout Ruto must go, we'll shout Kenya must change, we must follow the law. But at the end of the day, what we have really done is when we have touched a life and made it better. Fed somebody, clothed somebody, educated somebody, trained somebody. Hiyo umesaidia mabadiliko kuliko hii ingine hata ya maandamano. I'm not undermining maandamano. Kuna ile mass change na kuna individual change. Individual change will have a lasting impact than ever before. So thank you so much. Niko nataka kumrelease Frank kwa sababu anapaswa ku catch sleep, akona class asubuhi kabla aondoke, then atakuwa hapa twice a week for his classes. Ameanza computer classes hapa, then we are working out other things. So kama una swali uliza sasa, na kama una njia ya kusupport Frank, reach out to me and then we will work out that. But hiyo link ya PayPal campaign, hiyo nataka kila mtu ashukue. Chukua hiyo link, share it with people who are even outside Sound Candy Talk that can help Frank, because we need a funding for his startup business, funding for his education, and then of course his upkeep. And if we rely on this, tunaweza fika mahali tukashindikana. Kumbuka that's now a new bill, 11K added to our usual other bills. It will begin to strain on us if we don't get much help across. So take it upon yourself, not just by you giving your contribution, but also help somebody else partake into the blessing of being a blessing to Frank. Asante sana. So as unless kuna swala, I'll be willing to release Frank a catch sleep yake kabla ya klasi asubuhi.
There's a link there I've put there for Mr. Lala, pastor. I know in the US they use that. I don't want to say it out loud. Nimeweka hapo. If you can coordinate with pastor, I think the US audience can help. If a video is created and it's what do you call it? It's created and edited properly. And Bernard, I know you've got good editors. So speak to pastor and pastor can, because when a pastor, you know, when you have pastor working with these things, anaweza kuwashikilia hiyo kitu alafu anawatumia. But speak to Reverend. That's a good website. It's very popular in the US with such situations. So ongea na pastor on the side. Yes.
Sawa. Thank you very much. So Frank, you are words as we switch gears to go back to other stories.
Anyway, I don't have much to say. Ila ni kuwashukuru tu kwa muda wenu. Yeah.
And pick the movie you want to watch. Kesho after class utaenda na uncle hapa. Uncle atakuchukua. Tutaongea na uncle. Nikishamalizana hapo.
Sawa, shukran.
Okay, thank you very much. Reverend Lala, unless unala kusema nataka kumrelease mwanafunzi ya Lala. Okay, inaonekana Lala may step out. All in all, thank you everyone. Please, let's be on the forefront doing everything in our power to make a difference in our lives. We'll be back shortly.
Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye
All right, now to our special coverage of the night on the CBC Divide. Tonight, teachers and learners in majority of public primary schools have had to contend with poor state of infrastructure. Despite decades of financing of the free primary public education, there remains limited focus on school infrastructure, greatly affecting the learning conditions for millions in the country. This is especially so at a time that the rollout of the competency-based curriculum gathers speed, with learners in poor schools condemned to the same infrastructure for 9 years, from grade 1 to grade 9. Brenda Wanga paints a picture of the school infrastructure in the country.
This building, battered by age and the weather, provides little cover for the learners at Mapimo Primary School in Magarini Sub-County, Kilifi County. Shafts of sunlight sneak through the classroom, adding to the discomfort of pupils who spend the better part of their days here quenching their thirst for knowledge. This state of affairs is not limited to this school only. There are indeed numerous other schools in similar or worse conditions across the country.
As at now, it is in pathetic condition.
Just about every corner of Koitama Primary School in Bomet County is falling apart. From the walls or what passes for them to the unscreeded or unfinished floors, the classrooms to the administration block, this is the environment in which learners and teachers spend their daytime.
Madarasa ni chafu sana. Na watoto hawawezi wakakusoma. Hawawezi. Class condition ni chafu. Hamna desk. Then mwalimu hawezi akafunza ikiwa class ni chafu hivyo.
These schools are a snapshot of what bedevils the provision of basic education in the country. The infrastructure challenges in Kenya have persisted for decades, and the impact of the lack of adequate and appropriate classrooms, furniture, and even sanitation is evident in the academic performance of learners.
There is a direct relationship between the availability of infrastructure and the quality of education that children get. And it's very, very important that this is right. There is a cross correlation between the availability of infrastructure and the dignity of students. And also another cross relationship between the infrastructure and the pride that students get from being in a certain school. And so it's very important that we get it right, that the needs that students have need to be availed in a way that is very uniform.
The Basic Education Act of 2013 assigns the responsibility for infrastructure development on the doorstep of the Ministry of Education, but the ministry hasn't prioritized infrastructure for public schools. Indeed, the transition to grade 9 for the first cohort of the CBC system has forced the ministry to undertake the biggest expansion in primary schools in recent times, with a target of 16,000 new classrooms across the country's public schools ecosystem. The government financed the construction of 11,000 of the target, while the NGCDF was to finance the rest.
I never received any school, any allocation fund from the government. Now, all our crisis is that the school has got an expansion room. Tuko na shamba ingine ya kununua ambayo tunaweza chenga nini mashule, lakini shida yetu ni pesa tu.
The model that is being used now to fund infrastructure is not fair. It's not fair, and it is unfair to the ones who actually deserve more. The ones who have got capacity are the ones who are taken to spaces that are more resourced. Children of low socioeconomic status do not actually do very well in school. They are taken to schools that are under-resourced. And so it's very important that we get it right. It's not about just a uniform capitation for every school and that's enough. There has to be also a fund.
According to the guidelines provided by the Ministry of Education, each classroom, science room and workshop in primary schools should have provisions to accommodate 40 pupils. Each toilet should serve a maximum of 50 learners. The sanitary facilities also should be at least 15 meters away from a water point. The reality in many schools, however, is nowhere near this.
Deliberate support to infrastructure that is given to certain schools that are struggling, and the infrastructure should be at the areas that have a direct impact on learning outcomes, like laboratories and laboratory equipments, not just brick and mortar kind of walls. like field and sporting equipment.
A report published by the Office of the Auditor General in 2021 on the infrastructure in public primary schools found that the state of infrastructure was wanting. Out of 55 schools sampled, 84% needed extra classrooms, 75% needed extra toilets, 80% did not have sufficient desks, 78% lacked administration offices, while 42% did not have a reliable source of water. The audit also shows that while the ministry has given directions on the size of classrooms and sanitation blocks, it has not been explicit on the kind of materials to be used and the maintenance standards, a situation that leaves room for any kind of structures to be constructed. Stakeholders have called on the ministry to rectify this for the enhancement of learners' and teachers' experiences while in schools. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
Mambo ni kama hayo katika nchi yetu, yani kuna story ambayo unasikia alafu inakuuma, kwa sababu itakuwaje tunapeleka watoto shule na hiyo shule over 80%, 70%, 78% doesn't have the facilities. Are we serious as a country, or we have given up? Because this doesn't look like a serious, approach towards securing the future. Because if we take the children to school and we can't secure the education itself, the quality, the available teachers, the infrastructure, that is a survey that is portraying that. Are we not taking the future serious, or we're just jokers? We like playing games. I give that to you. Kip, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Nilikuwa najaribu kupigia simu kumbe ulikuwa hapa. So that one tulikuwa tunajua kutoka kitambo. We already knew that these things were happening. I think there was a guy called Professor. You know Professor? Yeah, he was actually doing his own vampire diaries and he was showing some schools in Bomet where nyumba ya MCA na governor tuko just across the street, nyumba za kifahari. We're still building, we still have a nursery school and primary school. Bernard, we are from communities that actually provide food through cattle and farming. Unajua ile nyumba ya ng'ombe, alafu kuna cattle dip up, that is where those kids are studying, imagine. Yet our leaders are living in lavish buildings, houses that they are never in. How many houses has Ruto built that he never lives in? Sugoi used to be a castle. Ilikuwa inashinda hata Buckingham Palace. It was that big. Amekuja sasa Kilgoris. When was the last time Ruto was in Kilgoris? Hajaikuwa huko. Some of these buildings are so impeccable that they could be universities and general hospitals, better than none in the world. If you see those buildings, I am so amazed at the architecture. And if only a leader would take such love and care to his nation and build such buildings kwa Kenya. You've seen Sugoi. You've seen the houses in Sugoi. Imekuwa sasa shule anajaribu kukimbizana na Kabarak. But that is for the rich. What about us, the poor? That is absolute garbage. Hiyo kitu nimeona I'm disgusted. But now, Bernard, tuko na majority. Tuko na majority, nimefurahia sana. I don't like Junet, but leo nilimwona kwa hiyo kiti nikasema yes. That is what I want to see. That is how we're supposed to behave. Sasa mtu yenu huko Western, I'm not saying that you support Wetangula. I'm making fun of you. Sasa huo mtu yako wa taa
anaitwa
alikataa
Papa wa
kufold.
Roma. Papa wa Roma, tutapeleka yeye Roma.
Chukua ya nyumbani sasa, take him home, aende akae chini. Now the next person unataka ule mtu wa Western Mshi, nataka vizuri mimi wa Toli Weta aende nyumbani. Mudavadi is clever. Mudavadi alifold ANC. He knew what was coming. Akafold. Now he's okay with Ruto for the time being. But in all honesty, this is going to be the test of Kenya as a society, to see if the political class listen to the law. This is a very significant, whether you like Junet, whether you like Winnie, or whoever you like or dislike, whether you like what's her name, the lady for Jubilee, what's her name?
Jubilee Chege. Sabina,
Bina, whether you like or not like her, this is the time you allow the real process to go through, so that next time if we don't like Junet, tunaenda ambia watu wa huko kwa kina Junet, wambie huyu mtu alitukosea. Do you understand? Then get him out. This is the time to shine as Kenya. Wachana na hiyo mambo ya AUC. AUC itakuja, akianguka atarudi nyumbani, ni sawa. Akipita tuta celebrate. Hiyo story inaisha. This is more important. Hii kuongea juu ya Raila or AUC, it's absolute garbage. Let's not either side, but I'm saying either side. Wachana nayo. This majority thing, if we allow Wetangula to bully the law, we're in trouble. It means the judiciary can be ignored by politicians, meaning that politicians are above the law. Wacha Ruto. Politicians are above the law. Sikoti imesema nini? Yes. The second ruling is Weta aende nyumbani. Kingi aende nyumbani. I don't care about the majority or minority seat in Senate, because that was not part of the ruling. Hizo tatu, those three rulings needs to be respected. Otherwise, as Kenya, why go for elections? Why go for elections? Unajua ile siku tuliambiwa ati Chebukati is the only one who can announce the presidential results. It's the same. They are telling me the speaker is the only one who can announce the majority. And hii ni ujinga gani Bernard? Hii ni utoto ama ni ujinga?
Ni kurogwa. Ni kurogwa kwa sababu it's members of parliament who are pushing that, and they know outrightly that is not the state of the law.
Gachagua alimpichiwa. He took it to court. He's respected the case. Amefanya appeal. Mukaingiza shetani yenu Kindiki. Yet it's still in court. Mumeanza ujinga. I'm telling you, Bernard, Kenya is going towards, we're going through I'm really watching this. Unaona kama ni kitu ndogo Bernard, but it's a very big deal. It's a very, very big deal. That one arm of the government is being ignored. It might have been reject from Madam Hotel, whatever it is. I don't care about that factor. Whether she's doing it by revenge, ameweka ama judge ndio afanye hivi tuko. I don't care. A ruling has been made similar to tukiambiwa hotel. Tuliambiwa hotel tukaenda nyumba. Bwana tulifunga virago zetu, mimi nikauza, najua bado uko na suti yako ya blue. Mimi nikauza yangu. Na tukaenda nyumbani. Yeah. So we respected the law. Wewe ulienda ukaweka yako pasi vizuri, ukajua tu siku moja uta dance nayo. Mimi nikauza yangu. And things happened. Watu wengine waka spray paint yako kwa orange. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Yeah. So important standing. And as for Tim Wanyonyi and Babu Owino, kuwa mwanaume, kuwa mwanaume. The old man is going to AC, whether he falls or he passes. Kuwa mwanaume. Be a man. You don't need to be endorsed. Kama umeona umetosha bei, ingia. Hii mambo ya kulialia, because we have to stop this culture of I have to be endorsed. You don't have to. Who endorsed Sakaja? Sakaja was in Jubilee. He then said he's running for governor. After he said he's running for governor, what did he do next? He changed parties before the elections. He went to UDA. Cheza kama wewe now, Babu Owino and team. By the I'm Team Wanyonyi. I'm going for that Watangula's brother. That's my next governor for Nairobi because that is where I grew up. Yeah. Thank you, Bernard. Nitakupigia simu when you get another guest here. I just want to finish off something with you. When you get a guest here.
So thank you, Kip. We appreciate that. And let's keep stay in the struggle until we win. It is sad, but we have to do that. Then I'm with you on the support of endorsement. We also overestimate the endorsement of Baba. Kwani he endorsed Kidero and Kidero lost to Sonko. He endorsed called Kidai, who was the former Azimio governor candidate, and he lost. So nobody should say that because Baba alishika mkono Sakaja inamaanisha Nairobi iko na Sakaja. Mimi niko Nairobi na nimekasirika sana na Sakaja. Sakaja ametuwekea concrete kila mahali, huku kunakaa kama New York. Hakuna nyasi town. Hakuna mahali pa kukaa. When you go out with your girlfriend, ni kutembea tu kwa concrete mpaka Uhuru. I mean Uhuru Park. It's not only that, the state of the town is in bad shape. Nafagia hapa na hapa, but you just see this a neglected town and forsaken town, and that is because somebody is incompetent, and I will not go for incompetence. I'm through with the settling for incompetent leadership simply because it has political affiliation or it has some regional support. I think this country deserves better, and we have that better with us. We should not ignore better or jump over what can do better simply because this person has the greatest support or he has support from which quarter. Kwangu mimi, I'm through with experimenting. Nataka my bishop huwa anasema finished product. Nikukualika kwa pulpit yangu, ujakuja kwa experiment kwa washirika wangu, deliver what is concluded, not what you're coming to try and see. We have experimented with this country for too long. That's why we are where we are. We should insist. We want wale watu wamepikwa wakapikika, wako tayari kutekeleza wajibu wao kama wazalendo ambao wanaeleweka. Hii mambo mengine ya kujaribu hapana. And the politics of ignoring the state of the country in favor of particular wherever orientation, I think as Kenyans we need to walk away from it. We walk away from it because we have suffered. Nasema ile panya ishachomeka mkia aisongi karibu na sufuria ama na makaa na jiko. Kwani tunangoja tukuchomeke mara ngapi? Si tuko kwa oven sai because of that. Why should we ignore everything else that because Baba ama Sakaja alivaa nini ya orange, hiyo inamaanisha Sakaja is governor? Sakaja should be voted out. He has failed. The promising youthful leadership that was to make Nairobi work has made Nairobi fail. has made Nairobi turn into something that we never wanted it to be. And so let's not mince words about it and not conclude. And then for Babowino and Timwanyonyi, they go on with their campaign. I mean, there is a reason why the seats are competitive. Why should we go for the seat when we know that we are going to win? Let's go and fight the best man to win and prove that you are the best man by winning first. And secondly, when you get in office, you prove that you're the best man by delivering. That's all I want. Hii pressure ingine, oh, baba amenisaliti, oh, nimetembea na baba. Hakuna kitu unafanyia mtu ili ufanyiwe. Fanya, tenda wema, enda zako. And God is the one who rewards us, not that we do so that we be done for. That philosophy, it doesn't match up with the even biblical threshold. You don't help so that you get helped, and you don't need to look for payback. Just do what you're required to do. Kenyans know who to judge and put where. And then, of course, the younger politicians should both look ahead and look around, and then decide properly. I would want to my best, choice for Babu. I was really prepared to see his performance as Minister for Education in the Azimio government. I was looking forward. If we would have made it and made Minister for Education and made education work, then I would trust him with governorship anywhere. But hii ya CDF peke yake haitoshi. Mtanisamehe, lakini kusimamia CDF peke yake haimaanishi unaweza kuwa governor ukisimamia nchi. I mean, the economy ya Nairobi ni kubwa, and then mapepo ya Nairobi ni mengi. So kwangu mimi nilikuwa nataka apewe docket, a function kwa hiyo docket, alete hiyo reforms vizuri, kila kitu kisimame, then we will know this one can make president or make governor. So I think he still has a lot ahead of him. He should not thwart or mess up his political career by insisting on what is not yet. You fight and run to fight another day. That will be my counsel. But whichever way things go, the ODM ticket will be a hot ticket in Nairobi and some other parts. And so fighting for it is worth the cost. But if the purpose is to serve Kenyans, we can serve Kenyans in other capacities. We don't have to have all elective seats. Kuna mikataba tunaweza kata. I'll be Minister for Finance in the Nairobi County government. Then you give me an opportunity to function there. So tusizozane mpaka tunafika mahali tunaingiana katika uhasama na kuchukiana simply because nani alipewa ticket. Kuna mambo mengi tunaweza fanya. I have said here before, Songo alikosea sana. Songo angekuwa governor alafu ahaye Kidero. Kidero alikuwa amesimamia nchi vizuri, he's jobless. You give him the job, anakuwa yeye ndiye mtu wako wa mkono, anasimamia kila kitu. County inafanya vizuri, wewe unaenda launching ceremony. He would have survived for the 5 years. Lakini yeye anafika anataka kufagia kila mtu ati amekuja na anointing mpya. Anointing ilimmaliza. So it is good that we open our mind and not get locked into the story of nimeshikwa mkono, nimeinuliwa mkono na hiyo mambo mengine. Asante sana. Well, nataka tumpatie Jemona yachangie. Masaa ndio haya na katika, lakini naomba tafadhali tuendelee kuchangia Frank. Tusifike mahali tukakwame. Tunahitaji msaada wenu, na tunahitaji pia msaada wenu katika kuhakikisha kwamba Sound Candy Talk inaendelea. Today is 12th. In 4 days time we'll be paying for the StreamYard. That's $50. A VPN is another $10, so $60 will be required by the 16th. As we vote in Addis, hapa tutakuwa tunalipa, so tusilege. Asante. Jemo, hali vipi?
Poa sana Bernard, na wasalimia kiwa na Reverend Lala na Kip. Hii masaa kwangu ni masaa ya kuchukua mtoto kutoka shule, so but I was with you guys. I was listening. Kazi nzuri hapo kwa Frank. You know, it was encouraging kuwa naye jana na pia kumwona leo. So yeah, and I think it's also encouraging to see more people supporting him on and supporting you on your mission, because it's not easy to stand with somebody and you know, inakuwaga ni kama once you announce you will stand with somebody, sometimes it falls back on you as your responsibility. So it's also good to, and we thank you for that. Mambo ya Kenya nayo niwacha nianze na hiyo video ya madarasa. I feel like where Kenya is, it's really sad. And then also the part that is sad, it's that some of these areas are areas that the Kenya Kwanza government comes from. Wacha tu tuseme ukweli. These are areas where if charity really starts at home, and I used to have a boss who was my friend. He used to tell me, no matter what, do never throw me under the bus. So if what my boss used to say, if you are my friend, you need to work harder. Nobody should be out here seeing that our friendship is costing the company or I am playing favoritism. So your productivity, you should be leading by example. Another person that said that to me back in the day was when I was a student athlete running track and field. It was a Kenyan coach. He's from Rift Valley, and he used to say, you as a person, you Kenyans in the team need to run faster than the Americans. You need to win all the races. You need to show why we brought you guys all the way here. So people who are around the president, the fact that they represent him from his backyard, they ought to do more and better jobs than some of these other places. Because for you to say you have good leadership, it has to be reflected by how you are handling the people that you can influence, closely influence, people that listen to you, people that really need to be the mirror effect of the government. You cannot, that shows poor leadership on Ruto's side when it comes to leading his party. And also, it's also showing why we have a very low productivity when it comes to his leadership outcomes in the country. You know, projects that nobody cares about. So if madarasa zinakaa hivyo na unaenda kulaunch barabara, if madarasa inakaa hivyo na unaenda kupeana bonus, jamani, na unajua hiyo kampuni unapeana bonus haikuunda hiyo pesa, so you're just using wasteful money instead of what things that really matters. If madarasa zinakaa hivyo na I had 100 MPs as flying out to go to Addis Ababa, I mean, it's absurd. But I'm also encouraged with the fact that we are getting to points where we can compare and contrast. And by doing that, we are just calling out these MPs. You know, if Ruto is comfortable with that, and if those MPs and governors are comfortable with shaming the president, then so be it. It will be a reflection of the Kenya Kwanza government, from the local governments to all the way to the national government. And once the time comes for, you know, sending them home, we have enough evidence. You know, wakisema fagia wote, that's what it's showing. And these are the same people who run their mouths, you know, who are buying choppers, you know. I mean, we leave them at that. For the MPs and the leaders who are performing, I don't know where they're getting the money to perform, but it sounds like they're getting it from some sources. If it's not from devolution money, then I guess there's no excuse, because I think that has been excuse for everybody. If not, then it's just corruption. People are not performing because they're corrupted. So that is it's good. I think we need to keep up with calling out these people. The media needs to do that. Morara is doing a good job in calling out these people. I see that there are some history ya Bomet ililetwa na ule that one kijana comedian anaitwa hii jamaa ya Chaget. He used to say William, ule jamaa apenda kusema William. So he went there and he went to Murang'a. Was it Murang'a uko kwa kina Ndindi? So he showed the project, the schools, and compared them. So I guess we will live to see how things go with the leadership and what developments are coming out of these places. The issue, Nairobi governor, that one, Bernard, I'm not even worried about it. I think where Kenya is, the minute we are comparing Bomet, you can imagine by the time we get to Nairobi, your problems are bigger when it comes to Sakaja. I think Sakaja has one of the biggest task for re-election, and it's the second highest to Kasongo. So him attaching himself to Baba jana, ni kama tu hata Baba anajua, there's that fake love that it's not really fake love, but you also, as human beings, we ought to know where we are. Tunaweza have ka prophecy ama ka judgment, self-evaluation of where we'll be tomorrow. And I feel like Sakaja is seeing that in Kenya Kwanza. So much is happening, and I think if you do not attach yourself to Baba on the weekend that the court has announced the majority is this other side, and then when they're announcing it, you are on the side of underperformance in the country. I saw the Kangata was ranked the highest performer in Murang'a. I don't know if there was any that came out for Sakaja. I did not listen that if you guys discussed. But at the end of the day, he knows he's not performing at the level that he should be performing. So him attaching himself to Baba, I don't think he's gonna save him. But I feel like it's just survival for the fittest. We can't blame him for doing that, because yeye mwenyewe ako na akili zake na anajua Kenya Kwanza inaenda wapi in the next election. Anybody running in Nairobi with Kenya Kwanza, I think they have a high risk of going home. So the issue, I saw the debate at Bunge, where people, the chaos of majority, Azimio taking majority and Ishungwa going to minority, and then he gets mad because PK was live streaming. I think PK was just trying to get into his nerves. I mean, if he cannot, ile kiburi alikuwa nayo ndio anafaa imchunge, because at the end of the day, the guy alikuwa na kiburi sana. He used to tweet about you guys na ma KFC and Gen Zs and their Ubers. So it's time for you to take, the colder seat. I like how Junet put it. I didn't know that. He said, I didn't know that hii viti ziko na different warmth. So I feel like PK is just doing it to get on Ishungwa's nerves. And I'm surprised that it was Ishungwa who noticed it. Like, it was so much, yani amekwasika sana, like he was checking updates on his phone. Yeah, he's insecure at this point. However, you know, the question that Junet asked is kind of telling, because that was a genuine question. If we are in a broad-based government, and we say we are a team before the courts, and we are here supporting your agendas as Azimio or DM, but then the court calls out this mess that happened back in the day, and we can just literally just switch floors. Why is it that you guys are acting like now we are different? You know, like there is no trust. That means there wasn't trust even to begin with. And it was a question that we'll live to see it in the coming few weeks. That's why nilikuwa nakwambia jana Bernard, tunangojea tu AU and whatever happens out of AU. I think if Raila wins and or if he doesn't, I don't think it will matter when it comes to the matters of the parliament and how Kenya is gonna proceed post AU. Whether Raila is the AU chairman, I don't think is gonna change, because the question that Junet was asking was a question of trust. And the chaos that happened, let me just say I'm the devil's advocate in this one. I hope that Kenya Kwanza does not accept to be on the bench, minority bench, because that will give Azimio a reason to now agree that there is no trust in this broad-based government. We are not broad-based. There is us versus them. Of course, there was, but there is more to that. And if needed, the need for impeaching Kasongo comes up, I believe Azimio will end up on the majority side regardless. But at this point, because of lack of trust, other issues such as Kufa Makanga, Kufa Dereva, this will be a good point for us to say, for them to say, we tried as Azimio, now we are parting ways, and because we have to clean up the house, they can revisit the court's order in an interpretation that also it meant that they also won the election. And if the numbers are right, this will be a good time for them to say, okay, we also don't want issue with the executive, so we can clean up the house from Bunge all the way. And those numbers will send Kasongo home. So I kinda pray that it's not good, but I pray that the KK government, you know, try to retaliate on issues of being minority, and then this will open up the Pandora's box where Kasongo will be facilitated with a good, you know, full tank back to Sugoi. That's my take for now. I will yield back to you.
Oh, thank you, Jamo. We appreciate that. A good outlook indeed, and our country is is in a funny place. But the insistence on the ignoring the law, that's something that we must treat with the seriousness it deserves, because what Wetangula is doing is outright playing with the law and being a senior lawyer, and then of course supported by those members of parliament who are still caught up into the issue of seniority, that if we are a government, we must always be the majority. It doesn't have to be. And good governance is where there is sufficient lobbying and sufficient convincing of people to support you. I have had a very high respect for Nderitu. Nderitu Mreithi, the former, I think, Laikipia governor. who was independent and was able to navigate through the whole term. He was a good performing governor. I think he just lost because of the mix-up of political party differences. But his performance at Laikipia was good, excellent. He came up with innovations and things like that, supported by the entire assembly when he did not have one MCA. So a good government should be good to lobby and negotiate. So you don't have to have a majority, you steal a majority, you buy a majority, simply because you are threatened that probably the parliament can vote against you or can shoot down your bills. That's the source of corruption, and we need to do away with that. Let every person be afraid when they are bringing the bill, because they know this is not a rubber stamp parliament. So this, I believe, should offer us with at least a lifeline in a parliament where people's brains are going to work. Not this choir singing that is taking place, where somebody outrightly knows this is not right and then continues to defend it. Others are now casting aspersion on the judiciary, or another one said that the judiciary is trying to overthrow the government. I mean, there are members of parliament on the floor of the house ambao ningewapata kwa klasi yangu ni kuwachapa kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni. I mean, how do you reason like that? You have cited nothing about the law. You have cited nothing about which law is being violated. And all you are obsessed with is somebody's trying to overthrow your government. Somebody's trying to do this and that. We all as Kenyans need to hold these people to account, especially their performance on the floor of the house. Parliament especially, watu wasirudi. Wengi wao, 99% should just go home completely. Waende kulima wakuwa wakulima wa ng'ombe. Sakaya atawapatia chanjo. But kutetea wa Kenya na kusimamia haki ya vile Kenya itakwenda, hiyo wametuangusha vibaya sana. Well, thank you. Naomba sasa tuanze kutamatisha. Tunapoendelea na kipindi, tafadhali tunaomba kuwe makini na tutekeleze wajibu wetu. Like I've always said, occupy your space. Let your voice be heard. In your small way, let it be known that things are not easy. And then kuna hilo swala la 100 members of parliament traveling to Addis. I hope they are traveling at their own expense. I pray they are traveling at their own expense. If they want to be excited or watch what is happening, as long as they are paying their bill, I don't have a problem. But if the government is taking money from taxpayers to go and sponsor people's luxury in Addis, then that's an abomination. Lakini kama mtu ameamua kwenda kutumia hela yake ya mshahara yake kujibeba kwenda kujivinjari, mimi siko na shida. And then of course the voting also has a lot of lobbying. Okay, lobbying in terms of until the vote is cast, the persuasion will always be there. And so tunapoangalia masuala haya tusiangalie tu kwamba 3 or 4 people are enough. We need the presence is needed in Addis, but let it not be at the expense of taxpayers. So watu wa ofisi ya Mudavadi hao walipiwa na serikali, lakini hao wengine wameenda kuimba chorus, yote yawezekana. Hao wasilipiwe, na kama wanalipiwa basi hiyo bili warejeshewe, warudishie pesa wananchi. How do we have this kind of classrooms and then people going to live in a hotel where they are paying $500, $5,000 per night and things like that? It's unforgivable. So as Kenyans, let's raise right questions and demand right answers. Asante sana. Helen hapa nasema Omolo, wherever Otienda Omolo would make an excellent speaker of the assembly. Of course, Otienda Omolo's competence and smartness is undeniable. And then, of course, we still have got just a number of people that can do well. And my future of Kenya, I want people that respect the law, follow the law. And my presidential candidate lineup has to have somebody who believes in the Constitution, who follows the Constitution. If we get those people, president and running mate, watu wasafi, watu wanaheshimu katiba, wanaheshimu sheria, hiyo ndio ticket ya kupatia urais. Lakini kama mtu amekwepa sheria, anataka kudanganya Wakenya, anataka kudisrespect court order, alafu mnaendelea kumpatia kura ati aendelee, ati alichaguliwa na Mungu, ati sijui roho amesema, hiyo yote ikomeshwe. Tunahitaji Kenya safi, na Kenya safi itatokana na uongozi ambao unaheshimu sheria na unaheshimu maisha ya kila Mkenya na haki ya kila Mkenya. Thank you very much. Now let's hear from Lala as we begin to wrap up. Lala, did I lose you? Okay, due to public demand.
Honorable Speaker, mine is on a point of order, Honorable Speaker, on a matter of decorum of the House. Because, Honorable Speaker, I was just perusing through what is going on my phone.
Yes.
And I saw the Honorable Selassie, the member for Mumias,
Yes.
is live streaming
The proceedings of the House.
proceedings of the House, recording himself from his seat at the back. Honorable Speaker, the House and the Parliamentary Service Commission has given us live coverage on national TV, and we cannot belittle the work of this House through such uncouth methods as live streaming, recording on your phone and live streaming what is going on in the House, and saying very unpalatable things on live media. Now, request that you ask him to even delete those things and apologize to the House.
Honorable Salasia, is that correct?
Speaker, you know, most of the time when I've been staying here for a very long time without being given an opportunity to speak.
Honorable Salasia, is what is being alleged correct?
I don't know what he's talking about because I don't run my social media platforms. So, Speaker, I've been carrying up my hand.
Honorable Salasia, the issue is, are you live streaming the proceedings and making unpalatable comments along the way?
Speaker, I don't know what the Mheshimiwa Chungwa is talking about. What I just wanted, I also have my own contribution.
Honorable Salasia, be honorable, my dear young man. If you are not honorable, it's very easy for Parliament to ask for the logs on your phone and see what you are doing. If you say it is true, then the Speaker will take some other remedial action. If you don't, it's a matter that can find your way to the Powers and Privileges Committee with unintended consequences. Why are you doing so?
Maybe, Speaker, maybe I'll have to confirm with what he's talking about.
Honorable Salasia, you know dishonesty is not a virtue.
Speaker, I don't know what he's saying. Maybe I go and confirm what he's talking about, but I had also just raised my hand so that I can speak what I feel that I should speak.
Order, Honorable Salasia. I believe when you are in the chamber, you are listening and following proceedings. Take your seat. You are listening and following proceedings. And what we are discussing this afternoon is a very serious matter. The independence of this House is an issue. The leadership of this House is an issue. And every member who has spoken here, you've listened, your seniors, your peers,
on a matter of decorum
have
of
been
the House.
very focused. Even members who have sat for a long time, you complain that you've been raising your hand. There are many. Lotte here has been sitting here since. We have Ferdinand Wanyonyi here, Amze, has been sitting here since. The issue is, were you streaming the proceedings live and making comments along the way? Comments that your colleagues are saying are unpalatable.
And that is the issue that has been raised by the member for Kikuyu.
Speaker,
you've even forgotten to switch off your phone. It's still streaming, I'm told.
Here. So I don't know, maybe Honorable Chunga can say maybe what I've said.
Order,
That is
Honorable
so.
Salasia, what I'll do is I'll instruct the clerk to get the logs on your phone. And if I find that what is being alleged is correct, then I'll invite a member to file a complaint and refer it to the Powers and Privileges Committee for appropriate action. You can also be named. Order, Women Rep Migori.
Yeah. So
yes.
we.
Order. Yes. Before I give the next Honorable Salasia, I'm told you want to not to contribute because you are under quarantine on the issue raised. The clerk tells me you want to say something to that.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that whatever Mheshimiwa Ichunga said, if I felt like maybe it was in bad intention, maybe I apologize. But Mr. Speaker, also, as we people...
Order, Honorable Salasia. Were you recording? Because you say if, you know, it's not, it's like there's no remorse. If you are recording, it is not permitted by our standing orders. So if you did that, I want to guide you as a young member, and I want you to grow in your leadership. There is a lot of decency, and the Bible says the greatest word in human relations is one word called sorry. If you did that, say sorry and delete those logs, and we go on.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I apologize and withdraw and delete.
Delete all those logs and let the clerk confirm.
Okay, hivyo ndio mambo yamekwenda bungeni. Utata kwa huyo mbunge matata kutoka Mumias East, Salasia. Yeye anaingia TikTok akiwa bungeni, anasema ni kinyume na standing orders. So inaonekana, Reverend Lala, are you there? Okay, it appears Lala stepped out, and
I'm here back.
You're still held up. We want to conclude that.
Yes, I'm back.
All right, so we would want you to make your final submissions as we call it a day, as they prepare for the new day sessions.
Oh, thanks, Bernard. Wakenya wenzangu, there's a word that describes a nation that has decided not to follow the rule of law. They are called Banana Republic. If you look for that definition of Banana Republic, it's kind of hard to come to that point where you say this is a Banana Republic. But obviously, when laws are not obeyed, when people impunity can be carried on with no conscience bothering those that are in leadership, then we are in the threshold of a Banana Republic. When we see a 3-bench decision that has taken a long time, calm down, and up till today, there are those that are debating whether they're going to follow it or not. People don't debate court decisions. If they have a problem, they appeal. And the appeal is where they can have their voice, not in some discussions in parliament or anywhere. That is the definition of a Banana Republic, because the laws mean nothing. This is what has created the problem of the Franks and others getting killed, okay? Because our leaders don't care about the law. And when they don't care about the law, they don't care about you. It's about them. They're at the center of everything. They're full of themselves. So it is critical for all of us that still believe that we can have a nation, because the Banana Republic, we are on the brink of lawlessness if we are not there yet. Because I believe when people are not able to sleep at night, when there are abductions, when they are raped, especially as a therapist, I know so many women in Kenya that have been raped and they don't say it. They are hurting. It's because the rapist will go out there. Nobody's going to find them out because they don't want to follow the law. We don't want to follow the law. To the point where a nation decides not to vet anybody who wants to become a Kenyan, when actually the vetting should have been going on for a long, long time. When a child is born in Kenya, raised in Kenya, and then they have to look for some guy to be registered as Kenyan, this tells you something is wrong. So it is critical for all of us that still believe in Kenya to bundle together. Let's hold each other's hand. Let's stand for truth. Let's support the people that are leading us in the right direction. Let us do the right thing. And that is my prayer for our nation, that the nation is worth fighting for, is worth standing for, is worth even dying for. Because if we don't, then your children have no future. Their futures in slavery in the peninsula. Their futures in crossing the Red Seas and crossing the Mediterranean. And nobody wants them there. People don't even want us. We see Trump. They don't want, some of us who probably came over here, different places, and all of a sudden we discover that actually we are not needed. Okay, so it is important for us because we have a home. Kenya is my home. Kenya is a place I was born. Kenya is my first love. And when my family can't sleep at night, when my younger brothers and sons and daughters fear being abducted and they don't turn out alive, when Okoth, Frank, and others have 6 bullets, here is an orphan that has suffered all his life. And when he's looking for just a job, just to stand up for his right, all he met was 6 bullets in his body. That is how low we have come. And so I pray and I appeal to the conscience of every Kenyan, every one of us. God is using that conscience of yours to tell you the truth. Don't drown it. Don't sear it. Let it pick the message of love, of hope, of justice, and let us walk toward the light that God has given us through his Son, that we can have a nation that we believe we can be proud of, even when we are here. When we are out of Kenya, we are the diasporas and others outside. We can say we have a home. A home is where people can sleep, where we can laugh. I remember growing up in a little village, and we played on trees, climbing trees, and able to have milk. The cows were plenty. We didn't have a lot of education, but food was there. There was a granary with food. And then many of us went to school, sold everything, believing that the education will help our parents. They are languishing in poverty. Yet the people occupying offices are people who have fake degrees, and nobody wants to follow them up. They are there. And yet people who have suffered, sold everything else, are walking in the tamaking with nothing in the streets of Nairobi and different cities in Kenya. And yet we still think we have a nation. That is the definition of a banana republic. Stand up, let's stand up and get rid of this thieves and nyangaus waondoke kabisa ili tuwe na Kenya mpya. Asante Bernard, asante for what you're doing. We believe in you, believe in this channel, and plus all of you behind at the scene that are standing for truth. Let us fight because Kenya's worth it. Thank you, Bernard.
Thank you so much, Reverend Lala. We appreciate that, and we believe the message is home. As Kenyans of goodwill, this is it. Let's make our being here count, and let's ensure that we don't leave the running of the affairs of this country to chance anymore. I encourage every one of us, let's ensure that we are either educating somebody, enlightening somebody, and ensuring that these political games that have been played on Kenyans come to an end. If we are going to have a country, it has to be governed by the rule of law, and those playing with the rule of law should be our first suspects. You won't give a thief to be your watchman. You won't trust your enemy to be your cook and things like that. So Kenyans, we have been laying back for too long, and that's why we got ourselves in this mess. So to get out, let's take serious the responsibility of electing leaders and putting people in public, whatever offices for catering for the welfare of Kenyans. We have seen our education is not working. Our healthcare is in shambles, and what we are being treated to is Kindiki spending over 200 million to go and speak to people. It's sad. It is sad that wamama wanakufa wakati wanapeana maisha. They are not getting dialysis. Systems are not working, but people are running around on top of cars convincing Kenyans that they are working for them. They have set aside money, 2 billion, 5 billion, and that billion. Those lies, we need to catch them and be able to arrest them this time round. Hakuna kudanganywa ati mama mboga, mtu wa bodaboda, mtu wa mkokoteni. Lazima kila kiongozi awajibike. So na encourage kila Mkenya tusinyamaze. Tunaponyamaza ndio tunaachia maovu yakienea bila sisi kuyazuia. Umeona ile story, maybe we'll discuss that tomorrow. Inaitwa Cusco, I think 13 billion. It's unbelievable. And then all that is ignored. It's brushed off as if it's nothing. And so Wakenya wote wa tabaka tofauti, ukuwe diaspora, ukuwe hapa nyumbani, tusichoke kusimamia haki, kwa sababu kwa hiyo haki tu ndipo tutakapopona. Otherwise, I want to thank you so much for always being here for Sound Candy Talk. We encourage you to continue supporting the channel, and then remember the new responsibility you have taken on to support Frank and make sure that he gets his life back. And I appreciate those who are responding. Please, let's not go slow on the same. Let's work hard. Let's give this young man life that he will be grateful that we came in good time and we saved the day. I'll be the happiest person when I see Frank rise up and become a great leader in this country, because I believe that there is a reason God preserved him and his future is brighter. So let's be part of his story. Let's walk with him, and that will make much difference. So if you want to make a contribution towards Frank, there are 3 ways. You use the normal M-Pesa line. Let me just display that. And then Reverend Lala also, okay, just before we do that. Okay, here we go. To support Frank, you either use the M-Pesa till number 516575. That is works only locally. If you're in the diaspora, you want to send via M-Pesa, you use +2547184545585. Bernard is the name. Or there is that link, PayPal where we are running the specific campaign for Frank. You click on the link and it will give you 3 options. You contribute either for his upkeep, his schooling, or a contribution towards the kitty for startup business, because that's what we want him to get into in the next 12 months. So we have taken upon ourselves that we rent for them a house, which we have done already. They have moved to the new house. The cost is 11K per month. That is house rent 10, and then 1K for Wi-Fi, so that he's able to remain in touch and continue doing his online classes. He has already started computer classes, basic skills for computer, which he is now continuing with. He will maybe in the next 3 weeks or so, he will have finished that and then now diversify. So tunakuomba tafadhali kuwa sehemu ya haya mambo mazuri yanayoendelea. I was saying Reverend Lala amepeana a link ya kama umepitia swala kama hii ya Frank, ama you've been traumatized and you need counseling or you need information on the same, we are sharing that link pia. You can please do that and ensure that you get help in good time or refer somebody who needs help. Many things are happening that we could, I mean, when we were growing up, you wouldn't hear them happening. Okay, mtu anaua mke wake, anakatakata, anaweka kwa gunia. Hizo vitu zilikuwanga, I mean, they have become too common and they are happening just across here. You hear a story here, you hear a story here. It's because people are going through things. So tafadhali, kama unahitaji huo msaada, tumia hiyo link, tafuta msaada. As teaching time saves 9. Usikae na maswala ambayo yatakuumiza ama yataumiza mtu mwingine. Na kama umekosana na mtu, hakuna haja kutoa maisha yake. Nothing like there's nothing you should warrant to take another person's life. Hata kama ni relationship. Lala ameongea kuhusu ulimpeleka shule ukalipa school fees, akagraduate alafu akachukua lecture akakuacha. I've had such a case. In fact, it was for a pastor. Alichukua mke wake akampeleka college, akamrudisha college, akalea watoto, ameachwa na watoto three kids I think so. So yeye watoto wadogo, lakini madama anataka kusoma, so akamlipia school fees, akampeleka, akahakikisha kwamba anasoma vizuri, na siku ya graduation pastors amekuja kusherekea madama ana graduate, wanarudi na graduate at home, and she eloped with the lecturer, and pastor kabaki na watoto. So kuna mambo yanafanyika ambayo hayaminiki, lakini yasikumalize na yasikubadilisha kufanya mbaya wakati wewe ni mtu mzuri. Mtu yule analipia mtu school fees, ile mtu anasupport mtu kusoma, huyo ni mtu mzuri. Usiharibike kwa sababu mtu amekufanyia mabaya. Let go and let God. That way will be a better world. But this one of wanting to get even, paying back, tit for that, it's not the fair game. The fair game is let God be the judge and let God defend you. And God can only defend you when you let him do so by shutting your mouth and trusting him with your future. Asante sana. But Lala, were you saying something?
I'm just commenting on that. Our politician Wetu, they Awana Utu. Now they know very well they have eaten somebody. Even for example, when we talk of a team like let's say Azimio, they you see, and of course Kenya Kwanza. Those whatever call them treaties or whatever it is, collusions were formed for election. It means their money was being used. They were organizing themselves, you know, to win an election. And then when you cross over, then you switch. I mean, it just shows how a beast of a person you are. People help you to cross, then all of a sudden you knock the bridge behind you. You join the other team, the opponent. I mean, and then now you are still here arguing. I mean, to me, just looking at what was going on in Parliament, somebody still there to speak. The best they could have done is pack and leave. Don't even discuss it. Okay? They may discuss the speaker's seat if there are some legal, some fuzzy things there. But even looking at that, there is not much that Wetangula can stand on. So for him to speak and other people to talk about that just tells you what is wrong with this nation, really. And even when they claim to have a broad government where it could have been much easier to cross over, they are still doing the same thing. So our watu ni nyang'au tu. Pray that God will deliver our nation. Bernard, asante.
Sawa, asante sana Jemo, kama umerudi tumalizie.
Hi,
Well,
Jimmy. It's good to see you.
yeah. Hi, Lala. Bernard, I feel like where we are is where we need to be as a country. It would have been so sad if post June 25th, nothing will have happened and Kenya will have moved on as business as usual. You know, the old days where the politicians used to get their way. Kenya is where we need to be because post June 25th, there was a Gachagua impeachment, and there we are here with the court again. The Pandora box is gonna be messy, not for the citizens, but for the politicians. When you see someone like Ichungwa sitting there and somehow suspiciously think or have that feeling that somebody is saying something about him, and he has the urge of going to his phone to look for evidence that somebody, to make sure that nobody. Unajua watu wamezoea kupangiana, hawananga amani. What you're seeing from Ishungwa's complaint is an individual that has spent 2 years planning, instigating, and he is not at peace. And I feel like the entire government is at the same state of mind. I heard Muturi was denied access to State House for the cabinet meeting, and the reason being is that they are suspecting that he's one of those snitches that just come and gather information and take out to the Wamunyoro. So our watu wote, when they thought their unit of purpose would benefit them, it actually went against them. The unit of purpose of the Kenyans citizen has really transformed Kenya post June 2024 on that auspicious day that kulikuwa na maandamano. So we are where we need to be. Biblia inasema no weapon formed against us as Kenyans shall prosper. And it's evident these people are disintegrating. When they united against Kenyans, they disintegrated. That's why Gachagua is home. And that's why Azimio and the KK right now might not see eye to eye. And I hope they don't. Because once they see eye to eye in Kenya, that unity of purpose for the politicians, it's very dangerous for the country. We've seen that. We are not just saying, we have seen that. So we are where we need to be. When I heard Wetangula saying honesty is a virtue, I was trying to wonder, since when has honesty been there in this government? Like, there are some things that are not needed to be pronounced at parliament. Things like, we will fight corruption. I don't want to hear anybody in leadership saying that, because we know they don't mean it. I feel like we will, Kenyans, and through the help of God, we will transform Kenya, where these parties are no longer going to be organized crimes, because now they are becoming organized crimes where, you cannot trace money just disappears, and that's it. You, in the name of service delivery. So yeah, we are, Reverend Lara, we are where we need to be, and I don't think God is going to let Kenya go down. If it was Mpango ya Shetani, I think these leaders will have gotten what they wanted. They are not sleeping tonight in peace. Nobody is sleeping in peace. And that's what we need them to be. That's the state of mind that most Kenyans are not. They are not sleeping in peace, wanalalanja. So if it happens to the citizens, Mama Mboga, then why would they sleep in peace? So we continue to observe and to safeguard the country and be vigilant. Kenyans we are woke right now, tumeamka na tutachunga inchi. So tunataka tu tujue ni nani atakiuka sheria, na wakikiuka sheria ya koti, hiyo ni constitutional crisis. So yeah, we are where we need to be, and we will continue to observe and pray for the country. That's it for me, Bernard.
Okay, thank you, Jemo. We appreciate that. Thank you, Reverend Lala. Thank you, all of you on the comment section. Eric Owen, thank you so much. And today, thank you, Joe Kibate. We appreciate your input. We are calling it a day as we get set for the morning drift. Please, let's be on the forefront. Share the video widely. We have 8 more people to get to 6K subscribers on this channel. Find for us those 8 people so that we can celebrate together. Due diligence, thank you so much. Modern Minds Unfold, thank you so much. Iko na Ntuni PS wetu, asante sana kwa kujitahidi. PS has been out of the city taking care of a sick person, and so thank you for always being here and making sure that the show runs smoothly and everybody gets to access it. Salome Amashibo, asante sana. Halima Hassan, asante sana. Naomba tafadhali tukatamatishie hapo, lakini tukumbuke majukumu ni yetu. Esther Stoll, Dahi Abdi, Simba Omar Said, thank you. Please, let's link up in the next show and keep it at Sound Candy Talk. God bless you.
Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye.
Are you looking for video live streaming services? You want your church services to be on air? You do not know where to market your goods and services? At Sound Candy Talk, we deliver the best live stream services for your events, product and service launches, conferences, weddings, and lives. Reach on us today.